So, welcome to the Keepers of the Golden Gate, session 86. I am Ryan, the GM. It is the 9th of April, 2021. It's almost the 2-year anniversary of this game, which is mad. It is, 3 days away? The anniversary, which is mad. So, yeah, happy anniversary early, guys. Woohoo!
How have you not GM killed me yet?
I did. So.
Oh yeah! Lol, I died.
Yep. Bastille brought you back. Previously on this game, murder.
Cheers for that one, bro.
Yeah, your team's got you. Yeah. Whatever else I was saying was probably fascinating. Here are the players.
Hiya, I'm Adrian. I play Arya.
Oh, we lost you.
Hello?
Yep, you're gone. Yep, come back to us. Try again.
Hello?
Yep, try again.
Hey, this is.
Ian, I play Arya Bluebird, the half-elf druid.
Yay.
Hello, I'm Sean and I play Bastille, the Warforged Cleric, baby.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Crumbar, and I'm playing. No. I'm Scott, I think, and I'm playing Crumbar, who is a make-believe character as a half-orc paladin.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I play Isla, the Tiefling Sorcerer.
Hi, I'm Callie, and I play Serene, the Furball Granger.
It's all going so well.
Are you playing Crumbar, or is Crumbar playing you? That's the question.
Oh,
I don't know anymore. What can I say? Jail time changes on Crumbar.
yeah, I think it's because of Bastille bending Rodriguez that threw off Scott. To be honest, I think that was what.
Shut up, baby, I know.
Oh. So, what do you remember from last time?
We got rid of ours.
Not we. You. Well done. Congrats.
And I'm sad about it. Not because we're rid of ours, but because I gave up my shiny gold, beautiful, majestic sword of awesome.
Oh, you made a grown-up decision.
Not being a grown up if it means giving up your stabby weapons.
Fair.
It was going either way. It was just whether or not you died as well.
Yeah, but this way it feels like it was my decision.
Yeah, exactly. Empower yourself, Bubby. Whatever gets us through lockdown, guys. Okay. Yeah.
I was going to say, we discovered the bad news
Mhm.
from the end of the previous session was just that there was no info on the Rod of Par.
Yeah, he was
In the
really cut
Dwarven
up about
Library.
that, wasn't he? Like, Rusira was like, it's
Yeah.
very terrible news. Yeah.
Really
love him.
dramatic.
I like him too. Adorable.
He continued to be quite dramatic. Well, we sort of behaved like petulant school children. Just continued to do our own thing.
Yep.
We weren't
He did
really
give me a
team
nice
players.
dagger, though.
He did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us the
Yeah.
name of that nice dagger again?
Oh, it was. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of the dagger. Fiend's
Fiend's
Demise. It was
There.
Fiend's
Oh.
Demise.
Here, you
Nice.
better hope it's not too powerful a dagger, or else you're going to have some wingy bitch following you about and bugging you eating apples.
Yeah. Who wants to be awesome?
I just won't try and resist. I'll just give it up.
Yeah, just have it.
Yeah.
Go away.
Fucking take
Hey,
it.
I'm back because you have. Nope, here you go, chuck dagger.
Oh. I would say as well, we then compounded our split the party issue. I think me and Serena are the only two together anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody else
I
is by
left alone
themselves.
with him for a minute.
I-
No, I did not enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But you got a dagger out of that awkwardness, which was nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did some research about the Abyss.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cult of King got mentioned. The Abyss started like in the land. I found out some stuff about tieflings that
Yeah,
make me
yeah.
question my reality.
Welcome to the
Oh,
game.
I got called in. I got called into the head teacher's office. Oh, I had to
Yes.
report. It was very
Yeah.
stressful,
Wonderful Cyril.
but still fangirling.
Yeah, very practical woman, Cyril.
And as I said last time, I told her everything.
Yeah.
So Everyone else bear that in mind.
That's fine.
This party is so gabby.
I know. Right. The receiver turns up. Hello, I've met your friend Crumbar. Here is the notes from that meeting. Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. It's very good. But yeah, and Crumbar, where did they leave you? Do you remember?
In jail.
Yeah.
It's a hard not life for Crumbar.
Oh dear.
Why
then-
do you let me play these games, Ryan?
I mean, I don't make you make the choices you make. But yeah.
But you
and-
don't stop me either.
I mean, I do throw in a bunch of stuff to try and stop you, but you don't ever see the signs. You just hit other
That's
people with the
because
signs.
I need subtlety like a brick to the face.
Yeah, like arse. There we go. Arya, where did believe you? Do you remember?
I was in. Well, we're all in the and actually
Oh, we're losing your audio again. You're definitely like,
We're in the what?
yeah,
growing chamber.
yes.
Mhm.
There we go. Got that. Yep, perfect. Yeah,
With the most beautiful ending.
and the your nice welcome that you got.
The mistress of the flame.
So, that is for the most part. Bastille, anything you want to add?
I inherited some stuff, got a
Mhm.
home in the forge, and a potential new arm. Got it?
Wait, did you get his house as well?
Yeah, it's just a hole in the wall no one was using.
Oh, I thought it was just the arm you got. I didn't realize you actually got the house as well. That's awesome.
Well, the king's opinion was like, it's I don't really understand the transference of property to other property, but sure, fuck it. Like, it's not like anybody else was using it, right? It is like, it was Brewblades. So,
So we have a base here. Well, we need to get pay for a teleportation circle in there and stuff.
I mean, whatever the costs of getting somebody to do that for like however long it takes to do. It's like,
you know how an Eye of Janus works, right?
Yeah,
We don't
Yeah,
need no
we got that.
teleporting circle.
a long
Unless
and
something
healthy
happened to it.
lifetime.
You know, if it's still fully functional.
so let's have a good question. All right, let's just open with a teleport circle because the spell that I always skip because it's peasant teleporting in my opinion. It's not you doing it really; it's you having to make something to do it for you, which I hate. So what have we got? Teleportation circle. So it's a 5th level conjuration spell, or I just wish they called their levels for magic tiers, so it would stop people being confused with your level. Like as a
Yeah.
character or a class and your magic, because it's a 5th level spell. I'm level 5. Ah, you're relegated to 3rd level magic, I'm afraid. What? Yes, because maths. Yeah, it's so dumb. So I wish it was just called 9 tiers of magic. 1st tier magic, 2nd tier magic. Tier 0 being cantrips. That would just be easier. But they don't do that because that'd be easy. So. Cost around, it is pretty cheap to do, right? Rare chalks and inks infused with precious gems worth 50 gold, which the spell consumes. So
Oh,
it's not really that expensive, right?
That's really cheap.
I mean, yeah, right? But for a 5th level spell, it's actually super cheap when you think about it, right? Excuse me, it takes a minute to cast, the duration is a round. After you cast a spell, you draw... as you cast a spell, you draw a 10-foot diameter circle on the ground, inscribed with sigils that link your location to a permanent teleportation circle of your choice, whose sigil sequence you know and is on the same plane of existence as you. Shimmering portal opens within the circle. You draw and remain open. Who's clanking? It's Scott, of course. It's Scott.
Oh, sorry.
So a shimmering portal opens in the circle you drew and remains open until the end of your next turn. Any creature that enters the portal instantly appears within 5 feet of the destination circle. Unoccupied spaces, blah blah blah. Any major temples, guilds, and other important places have permanent teleportation circles inscribed somewhere within their confines. Can you now see how this is not a settingless system that some people try and argue, which is absolute bullshit?
yeah.
The very fact that they're telling you that is the setting, yeah. So each search circle includes a unique search. Basically, it's stargates. You dialed the right stargate.
Mm-hmm. You gotta know the
yeah.
address.
Exactly, right? And then the part I'm getting to is when you first get the ability to cast this spell, you'll learn the sigil sequence for 2 destinations on the material plane determined by DM. I'd say that we already know that you know the sequence for the Golden Order, right? Because you went there, right? You have done that sequence, and I think you have left from there using the sequences to get to High Rock, at least.
Yeah, we've used it a couple of times.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
obviously the Golden Order have them set up. Determined by the DM, you can learn additional sequences during your adventures. Isn't that lovely? And you can commit a new sequence to memory for setting it for 1 minute, which is lovely as well. You can create a permanent teleportation circle by casting the spell in the same location every day for 1 year. You need
Oh.
not use the circle to teleport when you cast the spell in this way. Can you see why it's quite an investment?
Mm-hmm.
And
that 50 gold suddenly feels like more.
yeah, but the thing is, right? See, like, so I'm gonna do the maths for that, right? So if it is 365 times 50, right, and that's 18,250 gold, right? If you paid someone to just cover the cost of materials, not their life for a year, right? So if you add in labor to that, let's just times that figure by 2. Just to be nice to the person. Yeah, so basically like 36,500 gold is a chunk, right? But let's look at that in platinum. 3,650 platinum seems a lot more manageable when you're making yourself a permanent, like, home returnee spotty door thing, right? Can you now see why the Eye of Janus is, like, pretty OP?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other GMs laughed at me when I gave teleportation away for free to a party. Yeah, fuck you guys. But yeah, so this is why I don't tend to care much about that spell. Like, I'll pick that up on the way to level. Is it teleport level 7? 7th level magic even. Sorry. Sure, that's it. Yeah, 7th level conjuration teleport. By the time I pick up the teleport spell, when I get a 7th level spell slot, I will have traded out teleport circle. Put it that way. Because why go to circles you need to know the addresses to when you can just go wherever the fuck you want with teleport? Yeah. So anyway, but that is something that you could start the motions of, but remember, Forge has its own teleport circle. You were with us when that happened, because the party were thinking about using the Golden Order teleport circle to get to Forge, because they have one. But the reason why Zagaka said don't do that is because that's kind of really fucking rude. Just to turn up and they'll probably just attack you on sight. Yeah. Because there's etiquette, right? To teleporting, you know? Like if you've given your pal a spare key for your house, they don't just walk in. They'll say, do you mind if I use the spare key to commit, plants need ward. That type of shit. So, aye. But anyway, goals. Let's look at those while we're here. Yeah. I'll just review them. So, talk me through the goals, Hannah. What are the general goals?
Use Aurodax resources to find out more about the eye. Traveling to Anvil, doing some research. Learn who took the Rod of Path off Vishal. I like the verb choice there.
Yep.
Learn the artifact's name and use. Like shiny and underlined.
Rasira highlighted that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that highlighted?
Rasira.
Rasira. God Call, the GGW. Successfully commune with the High Druid. Are our general.
Yeah. And then do you want to give us your personal one?
My personal one is still compare notes with Rasira to gain something actionable.
Yeah. And does Arya want to give me her goal? Her personal goal?
I still want to find out info. Flamey.
Okay, we're losing the last part. We got info and Ada's.
Oh, I'm seeking info to possibly use my Mistress of the Flaminess to aid us in our quests. So yeah, you could say I'm on a bit of a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah, definitely. Who am I and can I be used as a weapon? Yeah. Bastille.
Basically, yeah.
Bastille?
Fire elemental.
Yep.
Or fire.
Fire elemental gets, please. Yep. Can has.
Yeah.
Yep. Serene.
Might need it also for imbuing life into that new arm. Or something.
Yeah, right. Who knows what it could be? I love the idea of going, okay, Fire Elemental, here's the deal. You get a cool new arm, but you gotta keep edgy on that fire damage for us, you know? Serene?
Gotta find who's got control of Justoria. What demons talking through her for her? I don't know.
Yeah, who's her new
Oh,
PA?
there's two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number.
Don't know. Can't see my name on the list.
Oh well.
Someone moved it.
No goals for you then. Oh well.
Yeah. So through Celeste, gain a replacement for the Quill of Defeat.
Okay. It's a bold goal, but it checks out. Interesting.
Get new stabby stab.
Ask Sugar Mama for new blade.
Yeah, I mean, I figured if I put get replacement for the Quill, that wouldn't qualify. So.
I mean, so there's enough of a goal to say find a suitable replacement for like a signature weapon, right? Like that in the vaguest sense is kind of cool because I do try and push people into signature weapons. I'm not saying change your goals as it is, right?
I'm changing it.
You know, I'll just change it back. Then I'll
You
lock the
crafty-
sheet so you can't edit the sheet.
You crafty bastard.
Imagine me crafting such things. Yes, within my craft. Yeah, but so goals and weapons and such. But yeah, I think that's a valid thing because either it's been in this game or it's been in another game where somebody asked, you know, can I find a suitable replacement for this thing that I don't have anymore? And I'm like, well, yeah, because it's like Thor looking for a new hammer when he was really sad his hammer got broken. You know? Really close to his hammer. Yeah. Good old Korg looking out for him. But anyway, that's our goals. And I think the best thing we can do is open up on Bastille and Dondrabella.
What?
Yeah, right. Where are you? What are you doing? What do we see?
So we were last just making our way back with kind of a Santa-style haversack of new shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, marching along. I guess we just wanted to turn to the
Sorry.
library because the whole incentive of going and checking on this workshop was if it had anything to do that could help us with analyzing the eye.
Mhm.
Didn't find that, so we're just heading back to say, yeah, gave it a shot. Nothing there.
Yeah. So you're heading back to the secret library, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me. I think on the way, you get to the part where you're kind of like leaving some of the slightly fancier housing district part and you're heading into the more kind of metropolitan part of Forge. And there are obviously still quite a lot of unrest in the sense that people are wary given what happened with, you know, the Celestial Guardian to the Heavenly Host Arsenal. But yeah, I think Dondrabella just kind of like stops and just like takes in the scenery around, like, you know, just people being a bit weird. It's like the vibe of Forge is slightly off, and like, you know, there's enough to really it's not that big a mystery why. And I think she says to you, how much help do you think we'll be when we get back to those books? She gives you a look.
None whatsoever.
Let's get a drink then. That's what I like to hear.
All right then.
Yep.
Bastille was like in the middle of saying, "Do you want to help out with like sorting this mess?" But then it seems like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Dondra-
She goes, okay, let's find a pub I'm not barred from. And then she like just like marches off in a direction.
I love that. What's up? Responsibility? Fuck that.
It's more just, you know, she's kept herself busy looking out for the king, right? Since she's last saw her, and probably working out bar tabs in various places. So yeah. So yeah, you and Dondrabella head off to go get a drink somewhere. It probably just gives you time to sit and like look over your, you know, the left arm of Wrath, at some point. Just to like,
Yeah.
even there's not much you're going to be able to do with it, right? You're going to need somebody that can actually literally rip your arm off and attach this one and somehow make it work. But,
Yeah.
you know, once you've got that person sorted, it'll be fine, you know? But you can definitely like peruse over it, and even if it's just the narrative excuse for you to learn that fact, yeah.
Yeah, I want to kind of come up with things, like assemble like a bunch of things to ask Flitwick through a message.
Mhm.
So I'll spend that time IRL actually making a 25.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. And what does it? I'll come back to you when you know you've got something right. You can just get my attention. Because I like the idea of we can just have you and her at the bar until you've come up with that, and we'll move on to the next scene for you. Perfect. And then we move over to the people currently in the library. And I believe that's Isla and Serene, right?
I sort of look over at Serene and go, I think we're gonna have to go back. I've run out of books to look at.
Are you sure?
I think if we just agree everything he says,
Yes.
it's not like we can go anywhere. I don't know why he's so impatient. We can't go anywhere. Okay, deep breath. Wait, what should we talk about? Oh gosh.
Oh,
Did he like talking about the dagger? Could we talk about that more?
I don't know how much more I can say about the dagger. He thought
Okay.
the best way to use it was to let someone fall into it.
Oh, no, there's more. Like Okay. That's good to know, though. Not a fighter in the physical sense.
Not at all.
Do you think he's just waiting for us? I'm gonna like peer around a bookshelf.
You look over. Like when someone tells
Like
you
Scooby-Doo
to look at
heads.
someone, don't make it obvious.
It's just these two faces peering around, and I love the fact that obviously Isla is quite small by comparison to like Serene. So it's just this face pops out, and this face much taller, like higher up, pops out. It's so good. And I think you just see Rasira like walking with a couple of books in his hands, and then there's a couple floating behind him. As he like gets to the table, and they all like kind of like stack themselves. And he just starts like pouring through them, as if he's still deep in research mode.
I don't think he's paying attention.
Okay,
Should we
maybe got a few more
interrupt him?
minutes.
He looks. We can just stay here for a bit, right?
Yeah. You could just read this book. I take a random book off the shelf.
Okay. Roll a d100.
Oh, amazing. D100. It says it's doing it. Hey, 95.
Was that 95? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
It seems like a big number.
Wow, this is so good. You lift a book off the shelf, right? And you look at it, and can any of you speak Dwarven?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody can read the title. Okay. And it says "The Gold in the Ice" is what it translates to.
Ooh.
Yeah. By the way, this was from a fantasy title generator, and it was the first result that came out. It was absolutely perfect.
It's a great title.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just make myself a note there, so I don't just delete that from my brain in 2 seconds. Quickly in it. No. The gold in the ice. Yeah. So you find that book. As I said, it's in Dwarven. Isla, do you speak Dwarven?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's okay.
It's one of the few I don't have.
But the good thing is, by your powers combined, right? We'll have your research prowess with the translator you have with you, Serene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an account of everything that led up to Odyssea's acknowledgement of the white.
Oh,
Well, that's a good book.
that's cool.
What do you mean by acknowledgement?
Well, remember why the Astral Hammer exists, Crumbar.
Yeah, because Odyssea and the Dwarf King forged it for
For the
her.
white.
to not make her be a bitch.
Say they're all friends.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
yeah. Basically, an acknowledgement of even the god dragon is willing to make something for you, though the head of the 5. Yeah. So, yeah, this is just like an account from obviously some scholar or some history buff of some kind, about the events from the kingdom at the time, the dwarf kingdom at the time, and like maybe the pressures of what it would have meant if it didn't work, or if like Odyssea hadn't stepped in, and the worries about whether that would create a religious schism between dwarven beliefs and this worshipping of a gold dragon. So that is what that book is about. Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm not sure whether he'd read it himself, but I think Crumbar might like this book. We could show it to him. I don't know if you can read Dwarvish.
I don't either. I'm not sure we've asked about language proficiency.
I mean, I know
We could read it to
that's
him.
mean. Yeah.
Please give him the notes version. I've written down anything that like Serene has read out. I've been like, yeah, that's interesting. I'll write that all down.
The Golden Order might like this book. We could. Did we take back the books that we borrowed before?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I was going to say
I don't know. The
be a
library
late
was
fee.
closed.
Oh no, we gave it to what's her name? I don't know. We've met so many people in the last
Oh my gosh.
few days.
Let me have a look. I look back through my notes. Was that Zadraka?
Yep.
Yeah. And we gave her the book.
Yes.
Yep.
Because the library was closed.
Yep.
Yeah. That's fine then. I was going to say in case we did something and they'd be mad at us.
I'm also not
Crumbar's
sure if this
probably done
is.
something. I don't.
Oh. I am a bit concerned he's not got in contact.
Yes, it has been a while.
Mm.
Well, not a while, but
A day,
I'm
but
concerned
still.
that he hasn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
Just zap himself back.
Hmm.
I don't know
Right.
where.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll find him.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think that's the point of the eye artifact. Oh. Right. We've maybe delayed for enough time.
I
now.
think maybe we should.
Okay. Yeah. We'll come out from behind our bookcase.
Yep. And there's just like him in a small fortress of books around him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How goes the research?
Wonderful! As he's like peering just eye level over the top of the book line. Please come round, have a look.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
And it's like a very, very large tome, right? Very, very large tome. Very difficult to carry for you, Islet. Maybe not so much Serene, but like for you, Islet, be a bit awkward to carry. He's got it open like maybe about a quarter of the way through, and he's like, it's like a big double page of art, essentially, and it's clearly through stereotypes, dwarven art, and says, "Isn't it just a marvel? Only a style found from dwarven people, you know."
Are you much a connoisseur of art?
And he looks at you and he goes, "Isn't everyone?"
Oh well, I admit I've enjoyed it a lot more since I left my village. It's more varied
He goes,
in the wider
"Oh,
world."
are you from the same village as Serene?"
You look at Serene.
I look at Isla.
No.
This diagonal
from a
look
bit-
that you share, yeah.
Yeah, like. I'm from further south, aren't I?
Yeah,
That's where Cloud is.
much further south.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
Serene is from this place on the map.
Yeah.
And you are from like down
Yeah.
down there. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
Oh.
here.
I'm apparently. Oh, this is stuck. Well, it's
Oh,
gone.
okay, yeah, you've gone like crazy places. I'm over here.
I had pointed to the right place originally, but then it just decided to just stick on that browser, so never use that browser again.
How dare it?
Yeah. But yes, Cairnwood is up here. That is where this area, like, this area is like the Cairnwood in there. That square. And then if we way further down south, if we go
all the way down.
Is it that white dot?
Yeah, that's like the peak of it. There we go. Yep. And again, that's
really,
stuck. There we go. We're bam. There.
Really fast.
Yeah. It's like, almost at the top of a mountain. Yeah.
In a gale. In a veil.
Yep. So no, nowhere near each other. Yep.
Yeah. I am. My village is much further south. Oh, but probably higher up. If you're from a forest. I look at Serene.
Yes,
As
but
mine's-
higher above sea level. Sea level?
Mm.
Yes.
Yes. How about you, Rasira? Where was your village?
And just smiles. And goes, "Did you find anything?" As if like caught in a wistful moment, and immediately back to, "Oh, the task at hand."
It's very good at that. There was some information on the Abyss historically, but not much more than we knew already. Some mentions of the cult of the king.
Yes, it's a terrible thing.
And yes, information about tieflings, which was interesting. And we found a very interesting book about Odysseus and the White, but nothing particularly furthering our goals.
I just know it's kind of like almost like with condolences, right? He's like,
Yeah.
yes, it's okay.
I like that. Versus, oh yeah, I told you so.
He's like, it is a shame. He says, well, I think it's best we collect our things and we move on to the next source of knowledge. This Oradak, you see.
Yes, in Anvil.
He just
And the others speak very highly.
He smiles at Serene because that's how like he learned of Oradak. So then, like, yes, Oradak smiles at Serene.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hate him.
Oh dear. So yeah.
However,
where is everyone? As he looks around, just realizing.
It's just like...
well, I look at Serene. Like, I don't know. I don't think I paid attention to when people left. Well, no. Arya left with the king.
The dwarf king.
Yes, the dwarf king. Oh yes, yeah. I have a like side eye of like, oh yeah, titles, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, but currently we're in fort. Okay.
Hi, Rasira is a brown noser. We know this.
Yep. I'm not sure where Bastiel went, and obviously we still don't know where Crumbar is. So I guess, but they know we're here.
Yes.
Crumbar doesn't know we're here.
Oh no, that's true. He still has the eye. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just funny.
Perhaps
It's
we
like,
should speak to
I
someone
am
who
here.
perhaps we should speak to someone who knows how to collect us again. Yes.
Yeah.
Who would that be?
I'm like, if they're within 120 feet, I can message them. But outside that range,
He just kind of nods.
we kind of look at. There's nobody else. It's just us in the library.
Yeah, just the three of you. Yep. And he goes, I would offer a spell, but this is not. It's impolite. And he kind of nods, like awkwardly.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that he thinks messaging spells are impolite. That's good to know. No, won't message him.
And he kind of just
Um,
nods.
Well, Bastiel was our means of long-range communication. But he should be easier to find. He went with Dondrabella. So
Right.
So just check every pub.
And is she some landlord of a sort?
No,
she's. Oh, sorry.
She likes this drink called ale.
Yes. He just nods, like completely knowing. Yes. An affliction many have.
Oh,
Sure. I don't.
Mm.
No, I don't.
well, she carries it well.
He nods, just knowingly.
Oh. As much as I feel we maybe have exhausted the opportunities here, we may be best to just wait until they return.
They know where we are, so they would come back here.
Yes.
Or
He says, like, yes, I completely agree. We shall wait an allocated amount of time, then I will be impolite and I will send them a communication.
That's a great plan.
seems
Um,
reasonable.
Maybe while we wait, I know we haven't found any answers, but maybe if we clarify the questions that we're seeking, we'll be more streamlined in our research at the next location.
Wonderful idea. What is the Rod of Power? Who has it? And how do we acquire it? Excellent.
Okay, let's identify what we've tried so far, and then I'm just going to try and keep him busy.
Yeah, and I think when he does that, he goes, let us make some room for this. And then he just quickly he does some motions with his hands, which are obviously like somatic components. He mutters some arcane words, and then just slams his hands on tops of all the books, and they all just float up and go back to their shelves.
Ooh.
Very useful.
That's just showing off.
I mean,
Well,
Bastiel kind of used the same spell like a couple of sessions ago. It's like animate object. It's all right. Like, yeah, it just looks cool depending on how you use it, doesn't it, Bastiel? You can threaten people at the neck with them with swords, which looks bitchin', or you can tidy up really well with it. Like, yeah. So yeah, he cleans his mess up. The books go back to where they're supposed to go, and yeah.
So while we're
I need
waiting,
to hire him to do that for me as well.
people.
My house. Don't pay me a visit.
Yeah, that'd be good. While we're waiting for people to come back,
Mhm.
can I see if there are any books about the Cairn Woods, because it's nearby? Maybe
Yeah.
Great idea.
Give me
just
a
a bit of
investigate.
browsing.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah, you can help as well. Yep.
can I
totally.
aid?
I love that he's both sit down after he's cleared the table and you go, actually, we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. We get him started on a trail.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
We don't just immediately abandon him. But we get him when he's writing. We're like, we'll be back in a second. We get him
So
on
we
a
know
roll.
what we're doing next. So
Yeah.
while we wait, I thought he'd approve of,
I love that they're just
reading,
putting
so-
on the TV to distract the kid. It's great.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so Serene, you can give me the investigate check with advantage if Isla's helping.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. The investigation. Oh no.
Yeah. Look at that. We're bam.
Whoa.
So the way I generally interpret that is I usually assume narratively the second role is the help role. And the first role is like the main actor's role. It's not a hard rule of mine. I just think it's a nice way to interpret who actually was the more helpful person here, if that makes sense. So it's like basically there's almost nothing in it though. Like it's almost like you both spot the right section in the right book at the same time, essentially, given how close the roles are here. But yeah, I think you find a book again with like one of the most of the things here are dwarven. Let's face it, most of it. And let me find a cool book title that we can call it. I'll see if I can find something that seems appropriate. Let's see. Oh my god, this is a bit heavy. So the ones I'm skipping past. The Blood Obelisk. Nah.
Ooh. It's a good name though.
Yeah, right. there was one called The Reaper in the Abyss. We don't need that level of heavy.
Wow.
Yep. The Oracle in the Dusk. Oh. Tears of Destiny. Nope, we're good with that. The Hand of the Dark. The Steel Orb. These are great. Right, so I'm going to just close that because I'm just going to make up my own title. So, you get a book that is titled The Rise of the Poisoned Well.
Ooh.
I'll write this down.
That is a tasty.
Yeah. So, I'm going to assume, are you going to take this back to the table to read, or are you going to just like hide and read it? Or what's the plan?
I'd probably read it kind of like leaning against one of the bookcases, but facing the table.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping an eye.
I'll probably go back to the table then.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, like, I think as you read through this, this is about the worship of the green.
Ah, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. There isn't much other than it's essentially like a collection of like folk tales, right? You know, like dwarfs that got drunk and wandered into the woods and then, you know, come back with amazing stories of fairies. But you know, there's a lot of truth to a lot of those stories, Serene. So yeah, there's the book essentially accounts for the green itself as this almost somewhere between worshipped and revered and protector figure of the Furbolg and the forest, and it was in itself the greens almost represented a protection from the Fae influences as well in the forest. As if the Fae were there originally, the green decided fuck that, I'm moving in. And then the Fae just decided not to fuck with the green. And the Furbolg found peace there, and because the Furbolg were willing to work and live in harmony with the green, they became symbiotic in a way. Because, you know, why the hell not? It's also where I'm probably just going to have like the Green Knight style lore bleed in to this world, because why not? Let's just steal from all the things. So, yeah. Because as we know, dragons of a certain caliber can take humanoid form, and the idea of the Green Knight protecting the forest is kind of cool. And yeah, the book covers again a collection of tales of people throughout like many like hundreds and hundreds of years, right? And it goes into details about how as time progressed, the relationship got more bitter between the two people. The people took the Green Knight for granted, is what the stories say. And in turn, the Green Knight expected more and more from the people to try and make up for the fact that it felt taken for granted. You can see where this is going. And that led to the rise of the Poisoned Well. And by the time you get through the book, because I'm just going to assume you're going to read all of it because I'm going to keep talking with that assumption.
I am going to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
If I can.
That's the name given to the green, is the Poisoned Well. So you
We
can add
didn't know
that,
did we?
and you can add that to your list of, you know, the Winter King and the Mother of Sorcery and the Engine of Destruction and the Poisoned Well.
So the poisoned well was the guardian?
Was the green?
Who were the dragon? And the people took them for granted. Dragon wanted more. He wasn't the Green Knight no more.
And
No more.
Okay, yeah. So he's not the green, like, so the green isn't known as the Green Knight anymore.
the green,
No,
the
no,
green, right? So the green, okay, who we know is called Viridis, because we've heard Cyril call him that. If we haven't, there you go. But I'm pretty sure we have. Although it was Candir, I forget.
Yeah.
Dragons talk, right?
Yeah.
So Viridis is the green, and the Furbolg like knew him as the Green Knight.
Right.
And
okay.
the Green Knight became the Poisoned Well over time.
Overtime, right? Okay, so it wasn't them two things at the same time.
No.
Right. Okay. Right.
Essentially, it was a transitionary name of, Green Knight is, look, it's our hero, the Green Knight, and, he'll fuck you up if you come at us, Mr. Fey. And
Is it that? Is it the whole Spider-Man thing of die the hero or live long enough to be the villain kind of thing?
Isn't that Two-Face?
Two-Face.
Yeah. But either way, it is that, right? It is that idea of...
and then the green left. And so the Fae came back.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
It all fits.
Right. But yeah, you'd probably just lose yourself in that book for a while.
And the Fae aren't elves.
No.
No, right, okay.
No. The Fae are anything Sylvan or Fae, which doesn't help, but like fairies, for example, are considered Fae. Certain animals that can speak might be Fae-touched. Arya is Fae-touched because she's a half-elf.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking, so, no, just wanted to clarify that, because when you said the Fae returned, I was like, is that when the Elf Queen became a thing?
No.
But no, okay, cool. Thank you.
All books that have mentioned the Elf Queen don't have a specific start date, if that makes sense. There's just, if a book has mention of the Elf Queen, it doesn't matter when it was written, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as most people have considered, she is the Elf Queen.
She just is.
Yes, yeah. But then, we know she has enough mental magic that it could be 50,000 different people over the, right? Just always project the same image. We don't know. So, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the Elf Queen. But that is what you get about the rise of the Poisoned Well. So there you go. And there is no definitive conclusion to the end of that collection of stories from different people, much to the author's dismay, shall we say. But yeah, because they were exploring the potential of going and researching dragons, it was shut down, and obviously the book was put in here. Because, first of all, don't mess with Fae Forest bullshit, right? Dwarfs don't need that pressure. And don't go pissing off dragons. Don't need that.
Dwarves don't need that either.
Yeah, so definitely. But some of the tales date back to as I say, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There might also be elements of that you've maybe heard, your grandmother or something sing random campfire tales or whatever, maybe nursery rhymes and stuff that have mentioned things. There's probably elements you can say, that's why we have sang this for years or whatever, right? There'll be lots of cultural little things that will make sense and I'll either apply context one way or the other, right? Throughout this book. So yeah. Isla, what did you do for about an hour? Let's report through the book with the wonderful Rosira.
I guess I do try in some ways to compare notes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
About, so kind of talking about anything that we've investigated ourselves and dismissed. Because at this point, I assume Crumbar's told him everything.
I'll set this in. He's cleared the table of the books and he's summoned all of his parchments again, and he's piled them up, and he's got the ones he's working on floating around him, so he can try and collect his thoughts with his work, right?
Yeah.
So he's basically in a small sphere of his own parchment. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so Isla will try and maybe offer any clarification she could give on things that Crumbar might have said that have been confusing.
Yeah, and as you do, it goes, come in, and he moves some of the parchment aside from this big sphere of it that he's in.
Yeah.
So you walk into his cerebral. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh lordy.
Goes, now as you can see, Crumbar's story starts here, and he points at a piece of parchment and goes, but then, due to the narrative stylings of Crumbar, it goes to here, points to a random part of the sphere, and here, and there. And I met him here.
Right. So Isla will pull out her notes from that night we had in a tavern where they told us everything they'd done. And I start to try and help him chronologically order.
Yup.
Crumbar's notes.
Yeah, and I think the two of you can work through that. And what would you like the end goal of this to be, right? What's the result you'd like at the end of this? so it lets me know what skill check it becomes.
Body. I think, like, really, I'm interested in, like, anything that, like, in conversation he might have had with Magna about things that we've done, like, if it's just come up, if it, like, clashes, if it's, like, any kind of differences in story. Because my observations of Magna are, he told the party that what they saw wasn't true. So I'm interested if that tracks anywhere else, any points of contention.
Yeah, and I think when you're comparing stuff, the Eremos stuff is mostly the stuff that's misaligned, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing on Magna acknowledging Crumbar's accusations of, like, the Rod of Power and bullshit like that, or is he even collecting the artifact? He mostly just told Crumbar, why do you believe this? Like, why do you think this is a thing? And obviously Rasira goes, hence me, right? Because that's why he's been sent out into the world to deal with this shit. And like, I think if you focus on, like, the Eremos line, right? You've got the accounts of, you know, because the party haven't told Rasira a lot about Eremos, but they've obviously told Magna a chunk about Eremos. So there is unknown 10-year-old entity listed in Rasira's notes, named Eremos. And also a line that says, maybe not equal to Black Fanged Spear, according to Hulot, right? But according to Magna, Black Fang Spear is his weapon. Yeah. So that is the two lines we're working with. The next stage of that line is Magna has the Black Fang Spear after it had went missing. And then the party have 10-year-old kid came on adventure with us until got knocked out by a magical tree, then went into a weird coma and wrapped up with the word no and stop in different languages, and then nobody could affect him in any way, and then Magna took him back. And that's where the stories link up. And then that goes forward to Magna says, nothing else has changed since I got the spear back, and the party say, that spear got up and stabbed people.
Yeah. And a different age.
Yeah, and like the Eremos now seems to be like 20 or something. Yeah. So
I'll try and like marrying up in my notes, but not necessarily like connecting without spilling too much more information. And I suppose then maybe pursue things like, has he ever heard of time travel? Time travel, a thing wizards can do.
Yeah, how do you segue that into this conversation?
Maybe some mentions about things like time, things happening at different times, things seeming to not...
Or just the age discrepancy, right? Like the age discrepancy between this 10-year-old entity.
Yeah, and leading... We're talking about chronologically, like we're talking about time anyway. Talk about like the idea of like transportation and like if you're moving, how does that work? Like do your... I don't know if atoms are a thing, but like... and if you're like... moving it that kind of way, could you not also be moving like time is just a river, that kind of stuff? Try and lead him round to it.
Yeah, and I think if you bring that up, people are like, yes, it's quite a study, both, you know, travel not only through space itself, telemancy, you see, or perhaps time travel, chronomancy, you see. Very different areas of study, yet often people combine them disastrously. He just looks at you severely. After that moment of like you like trying to absorb that information, he goes, but I have found in my studies and through colleagues published documentation, you see, Omen's quite the well-to-do place for the academics. The chronomancy, very difficult, very. And he looks at you like, again, something's happened, right? And he says, going forward, very easy. We're doing it now. He just stops and like almost lets you take in the moment as you hear pages rustle off each other from the parchment floating around you. And he goes, very easy, you see? We were then, and now we're here. No effort. And he just looks at you like, that's a massive discovery, right? And then he says, but stopping time, also easy.
Oh.
Stealing a moment. And he just like pinches, the air vaguely. Stealing a moment, easy.
Hmm.
And he goes, going backwards. He goes, bad. He just waves his hands like almost like, whoa.
I will hypothesize.
Mm-hmm.
But if time is involved, just because we can't go back now doesn't mean people can't come back to now, further in the future.
Yes, from then.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But if they were to come back to here, it would be their future.
God, my
so
brain.
they would be going forward,
Yes.
and
But
that would be going forward in time. See the complications of going backwards.
depending on whether we hypothesize the importance is the individual and the importance is the world.
The point of reference
for
is
the
experience
movement.
from the self.
Indeed.
Thus, if I were to go to your past, for you, it would be my future, and for me, it would be your past.
Yes,
But
it
if
would have
you-
already happened.
And if you came with me to your past, it would also be
Oh.
your future.
Yes.
The future you going to the past you's past is now the current you's present. See the
I
complications?
feel like we need a new verb tense.
It like wipes like a bead of sweat away. And he goes,
Okay.
it's very difficult. Going backwards is never the answer. Just
Okay.
nods, very like he's
You'll have
obviously
to
had
let me-
arguments.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You'll have to let me know the names of these papers. It sounds like a fascinating field of study.
And kind of like it shakes his head and goes, yes, it was interesting debate.
Indeed.
I think you can tell he didn't agree with any of these papers. I think that's what you're
Yes,
gaining from
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
He was happy stopping time and moving forward. Everything else,
Mhm.
blasphemy.
Mhm. Yeah. He's a very straightforward,
Yeah.
he wants to go from A to B. He doesn't like all of this moving around.
Mhm. You can't go from A back to
like,
Z.
well, if-
Yeah.
But if we do, then this happens. And he's like, no.
Yeah, you're learning a lot about Rasira's way of thinking here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
Yep.
There's definitely research into it, though.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Right. Right, so I'm going to cut from you just now, and we're going to move all the way over to Arya. Yes. So you are
I'm so
welcomed
excited.
by a
I'm just
warm
excited, I
presence.
promise.
You are welcomed by a warm presence.
Yeah, quite true. I mean, the sound inside the volcano, doesn't he?
Oh, we'll find out. Well, how do you respond?
I will say, did was it or did it sound like it was something in my head, a voice that I could hear?
It honestly sounds like you're downloading something that's breaching your internet connection. It's bizarre. But I got most of that. The voice you heard was familiar enough that you could place it back to being that spirit that helped you obviously empower plant growth. And its words were, welcome back, mistress. And if somebody goes and listens to last week, I didn't say that, it doesn't matter.
Is it infernal or is it like...
It doesn't matter, it's in your head. So whatever it would be, you can't place it. It's just known to you.
Gotcha. I was just
Mhm.
not sure which to reply and find out reply in common just in case.
So are you just speaking to the
'Cause-
room,
'cause-
or are you
'cause-
going to speak
'cause
mentally back
crackling-
to it?
Oof.
Right?
Actually, yeah, might be best to just speak mentally because either way it might sound weird if anybody does walk in here. Okay, I'll say hello. You're still here.
Where else would
May I
I
ask-
be?
Who are you?
There's
What are you?
there's a lingering of its presence right in your mind, but there's no reply to that. And it says, I am bound to the mountain. Are you here to free me?
What are you?
And then, again, there's the sense
How'd
of
you
it
end
still
up
like,
being bound?
there's a sense of it still being present, right, in your mind, and it's you're getting the impression that it's not, you're not dealing with what I'd call a high functioning intellectual, right? If that makes sense, you're dealing with something that can respond almost instinctually, but it can articulate a little.
Sure.
And it says, "Are you here to free me, or are you here to use me like you did before?"
I wish to know why you were bound to the mountain.
Born bound.
You've always been bound to the mountain.
Are you here to free me?
That destroy them.
No.
Like with your alignment, actually asking with your alignment.
Let me see your character sheet.
No,
Yeah.
right? I will say.
You could roll insight if you wanted to, right? That's what it's for.
Yeah, I want to do that as well, but I will want to say, so I was born like this. If I were to free you, what would you do?
It would respond and say, "Hey."
Oh God.
That's fine.
And guess what I don't have, guys?
Luck, yeah.
No.
So it says,
What did it respond?
no,
Oh,
the insight is on the previous one about, will it destroy the mountain? No.
Yeah.
And then she's asked, what will you do if you're free? And I think it just says, live, exist, freedom, growth. Mhm.
I will ask, what are you then? Are there others like you that I could help you reunite with?
Unknown. I have been here, alone.
How did you know what to call me?
You are the mistress.
Damn it.
How else did you hear me?
Well, I had something previously.
Remember, you didn't. You keep
Pertaining
you keep thinking you had that bracelet here, but you didn't.
previously.
Yep.
I know. I didn't have it here. First person. And then something called me Mistress of the Flame. But then I no longer had the item.
You think
and
this is family?
You called me that. Don't know. I don't know why I would be a Mistress of the Flame and how somebody would know of it. That
You-
is how I am wondering what you
But
are.
you can speak. You can hear.
Yes.
And you have heard others, like me.
I'm not sure because I am not sure who and what you are. What I first saw was, and I'll just describe that, like, red energy in an armor,
Mhm.
and say it's in my bow now, and then I'll wonder, does this thing know what a bow is?
I think, see, when you say that, right, you feel the thing like almost as if you were talking, like if you imagine talking to somebody and their body language shifts to slightly being defensive, you feel that when you say this, and it says, "Ah, so you use that which you free."
actually don't remember like doing something to put it in my bow.
No, you just repeated what Crombar
Just went
said
in there?
relatively badly, and the thing kneeled in front
Oh.
of you and then infused your bow. So yeah, you did very little in that
Oh.
other than repeat bad infernal.
Oh shit. Okay. I'll say things like I don't
Yeah.
know if I freed them, and I don't believe I've entrapped
What the? One
anybody.
second, Arya. Scott, what the hell?
fuck is happening?
Right,
Well,
I'm so confused.
I'm just gonna mute Scott just now. Right, let's just server mute him. Right. So Scott, listen, your internet's jank. I don't know why, but you're interrupting people's dialogue. Sort it out. Message me when it's sorted. We'll come back to you. I'll unmute you. So, continue, please, Arya.
I'll say I did not realize I was freeing anybody or trapping them. I don't quite know why and what it was that went into my bow, but that was the only other entity that called me that. I do not know how to explain this or why. But Arya now thinks that it's calling her Mistress of the Flame because she had the bow with her both times.
And it's saying, you do not wish to use me.
Do not know where you are, or why I am the Mistress of the Flame, or why you are in the mountain. How long have you been here?
There's like an obvious silence, right? Like it doesn't understand.
Shit. Do we have an idea of just like how long the dwarves have been in here?
I don't. So you don't.
Okay. No, because what I was thinking, right? What I was thinking, it might not have a perception of time, but it might have a perception of when the dwarves started living in this specific mountain.
Yeah, but then I think
So I
working
was-
out how long it's been since then might not make sense to it if it doesn't have a sense
No.
of time.
No, but I was going to say, were you here before people moved here and started carving into the mountain?
It says, I was woke when they arrived, but they could not hear me.
Huh. Do you have a name?
There's the silence of it doesn't understand.
Damn it. Do you know what you are?
Again, there's the silence of it doesn't understand the question.
God. Okay, guys, sorry, I need to break character. I need to figure, like what could I
Yeah,
do?
no,
What
no,
could I
no,
ask?
that's good.
I'm drawing up a blank. Like I'm trying to figure out how long it's been here. I'm trying to figure out what
Ask-
it wants.
You could ask what trapped it there.
Born bound.
I think
apparently.
it's just been there.
Yeah, probably
Oh,
talking
just-
about it.
Right, okay.
What was
Probably
that? Sorry,
don't have-
Bastille? Yeah.
It probably doesn't think in a way where it would be able to answer things just about itself for the sake of it. We probably have to ask things adjacent to it, like what got you there? What does the space around you right now look like? Da da da. Well,
Yeah, no, that's I was gonna
Be like, what are
that's a
your
good one.
instincts? Like, what is
Yeah.
their kind of being? What is their drive to do? If they're like a kind of animal or something that.
Like, how would you vote in the next
Yeah,
general
that's what I
election
said
type
I
thing?
want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
yeah. Friends.
Yeah, that's kind of what I tried to do, like by asking, like, what would you do if I freed you?
hmm
Um,
I think I gave a
'cause
fairly
I wanted to
appropriate
figure
answer,
out if
right?
it would want to,
Live,
like, destroy things.
grow.
Exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
But then it's the worry if
something-
it's a volcano and it grows.
Mhm.
That's maybe not good.
Yeah, their idea of living might not be other people's idea of living.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their idea of living
How-
could kill
how
off
do you
everyone
grow?
else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Could ask where would it go?
I think that would probably be the same thing,
Um,
like freedom.
What does
Oh, we all know anything else. Yeah.
what does it know of the world?
I mean, to be
I
honest,
find
I'm
it
surprised
interesting.
It knows that freeing it would not destroy the mountain. Like,
Mm.
how do you even know
But
that?
also,
ask
how
if
does it
just-
know your name and it doesn't know its own?
Mm.
Ask if it knows Justoria.
That's a good one. Yeah. might be.
Yeah,
Um.
you know who
Mm.
Justoria
No,
is.
but I think.
So keep in mind,
I
you want to
think
run
that
this through the
Alpha
what does
guys-
Arya want out of this, right? So we've just talked about interesting ideas. We've not done
Ah,
the how
sorry.
does this help us close the abyss type approach. So what
Yeah.
does Arya want to achieve with this? So tell me just now, Adri, what would be the best outcome, regardless of what you say to it? How do you want that scene and adventure and arc? What would be the best outcome for you? What would be your dream
Well, I'm thinking, right?
besides Bazooka?
But
Mhm.
what? What I was thinking, right, is it wants to be freed, and it knows that it would be in my debt for that. Because it's like,
Well, it's kind of asking
would you want
if
to
you're
use
freeing
me?
me. Yeah, are you going to use me? Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is I want to see if it would help me,
Understand
like,
every.
with, well, not necessarily, if it could in some way help me, like lending me power like it did for the spell, when we were to close this breach. Like that's what I'm thinking, like if I could secure its help for then. But I don't know what it is. Like, for all I know, it could be something like almost the size of the entire fucking mountain. Because I don't know what it is. Apparently, it doesn't know what it is.
Yeah,
Me seeing it could just like burn the entire fucking mountain down with the, Dwarf King and the thingy, the
Yeah.
White King and all the white dragons in it. And I'd be like,
I think
"Oh,
at the very
well,
least,
it doesn't
it-
want to kill me, so bye."
I think at the very least it'll turn the power off in the forge. Like, you just turn it off. Like, it will go
That-
cold.
that's a good point. Because Ryan, weren't you saying that all the lava and stuff flows through the? through
Yeah,
the
you have
city?
passed by
Yeah,
many aqueducts of lava, like lava
Yeah.
ducts, I guess.
that's a good point. I think Bastille's right in the fact that we will just turn off Forge.
Wait, why do we
It's
want
like-
to turn
it's
off
like
Forge? Sorry, I'm a bit
Calcifer.
confused.
No, they don't
Oh,
want to.
no,
They're
no.
saying that might if you freed it, is what they're saying.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that could be a consequence, is what they're highlighting. Not that you should turn off Forge, regardless.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was very
Yeah.
confused there for a second.
Just flip it on and off again, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Could make that
That's
worth
how
it.
that's
No,
not-
never mind.
What were you thinking there, Bastiel? How would
Well, I
it...
was just thinking a worthy trade for that would be having it there in that final battlefield with us. You could trade the forge for
That's where I was going.
in it.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm not sure the
But-
dwarves would agree. But
Help,
hey,
yeah, like help us
Mm.
close the breach.
they're relatively safe in here so far, at
They-
least from the
they-
threat of the breach. So
They were when they had their army here.
Oh
Yes.
shit! Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Like, they're now, like, it's not to say that they might fall last now, because the demons might decide to deal with the surface first and then go, subterranean, but they were definitely in a much safer position when they had their army. Yeah.
I just had a bit of a penny drop
Okay.
moment.
Hmm?
Bastiel, what do you think I might think this thing might be?
Fire elemental.
Mm.
hmm
Oh,
Maybe something for you to commune with.
It'll fucking destroy me on a molecular level.
Well, not to talk to it. Maybe I don't know.
yeah, just say
Yeah,
like I have somebody I want you to speak with. So,
Okay, or at least some of you might be able to figure out if there's stuff in here. Oh yeah, that's why I wanted us to spend more time in here, because then I could have used the spell. Ugh, that's why I wanted to stay more in here. I forgot.
oh, what spell?
Plant growth, right?
I
Or is
don't
it
know if I
Cubine?
press the button. Yeah, I think it
Scream
is
with nature.
because it
Yep.
said something about what was it? They fiends elementals. Like that's
Ooh.
why I want this to stay more here because I've already used Greater Restoration. I've used that slot for today.
Mm.
But I guess I'm gonna have to sleep and then come back here tomorrow morning. Because I need to see if this thing is an elemental.
You can have legend lore for it if you want as well.
I
We
can't
have
remember how that
enough for one
works.
card.
We don't know its name or anything, and wasn't it that as much as
Yeah.
the more you know about something, the more you can find out? Like, it might just tell us it's an elemental, like fire elemental, and that I'm kind of getting that hint as it is. Okay, I think what I would then like to do, right, is I will say I can. The only thing I can promise right now is that I will look into freeing you and what it would mean. But I do need to ask, should I be able to do so? Would I be able to count on your aid? There is a big threat on the horizon, and my friends and I are doing our best to keep everybody safe from it. And I will need all the help I can get.
There is like a
Would you
a
be
heavy sense
willing?
as you're saying this that it's getting more and more like as if like when you're talking to a kid and it's like it doesn't understand and that it's compounding that it doesn't understand until you get to the point where you say, you know, that last part you said and it will say, I will keep you safe. Is the only thing it says after like the sense of building confusion until you say, you know, it then like latches onto the part it understands.
That's sweet at all, but yeah. Um. Thank you. Yes. So if I help you, you help me. Yes.
Yes.
I will go find out more about how I could free you.
There's like no reply.
I don't know what to call you. Do I was about to say, do you have a looking glass? Do you see anything around you? I'm gonna ask, like, essentially if it sees anything around it, because if there's any like water or anything around it, I'll be like, look into the water and tell me what you see.
Yeah.
It doesn't reply. Like again, that sense of it doesn't understand what you're asking it to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll-
I think
I was about
so.
to say,
I
are
think
you
the
large? Are you small? Are
I
you?
think the
But
last thing
I'm sure
you
it's a fire elemental of
the
some
last
sort.
thing you hear before we go to break is it's warm, and that's where we cut to go to break.
It's the heart of the volcano.
Okay, I'm
Reckon
gonna.
Tefiti.
bomb you with that and then go back. Here we go. Right, so back to the RP. Welcome to the Keepers of the Golden Gate session, whatever it is, we're on 86. That'll do. Part 2. I'm Ryan, GM, and here are the players.
Hiya, I'm Adrian, and I play Arya Bluebird, the half-elf druid.
Oh, I'm Sean, and I play Bastia, the Warforged cleric.
Hi, I'm Scott. I'm playing Crumbar, who is a half-orc felon.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm playing Isla, the Tiefling Sorcerer.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm playing Serene, the Furball Granger.
Yatta. So, here we are. You had one last thing you wanted to ask this thing you have connected with, Arya. So we'll go back there and we'll have
Okay.
your final moments in that scene before I cut to someone else.
Yes. I'll ask. Were you ever aware of other mistresses of the flame?
And there's like again the same silence of it's not quite sure what you're asking, and it says
Are there other mistresses of the flame?
others could hear, yes, and that's it. You know, we cut from you there
Gotcha.
on that,
Okay.
and we go to Crumbar.
I am.
Yep. So you're in your dwarf prison cell, and you hear like it's obviously been a couple hours since you last spoke to the white, and there's like a big thunk at the door, and like kind of like walking backwards, holding a tray, and walks this kind of a shuffly old dwarf man. He like kicks the door behind him closed, and then walks forward, like balances on his knee the tray as he fumbles with like the door to your cell. Like opens it, walks in, and sits the tray down on like the kind of almost like the stone ledge that is your table in your room. And he looks at the tray, and he looks at it and he goes, "It's it's a bunch of different things because I didn't know if you had any special dietary requirements, not being a dwarf. So I put some different things there. We've got fruit now, which is weird, so I put some of that in as well. Again, if you don't eat it, don't make yourself sick. I don't want to be, having to clean up sick, so don't do that. This is healthy, I'm told. Eat that. Aye. That's just water. Bye." She just starts to shuffle out again.
No, but like, it's just like, you remind me of a man I know.
What do you mean? I'm here.
I just kind of have a giggle. It's like, back at the Golden Order, there's a man called Jet. He walks similar to you. Just like
He looks at you. He's like, "Aye, okay, very good. Let me know when you're done. Take it back." He, like clicks the door shut and then like starts to shuffle out again.
And like as he's walking away, I just like kind of yell. I'm like, "Thank you," and I'll kind of just look down at the food, take like a big whiff in, and just go, debating, and I'm like, you know what? Probably don't know when I'm next gonna eat, so I'll just eat it all. It's just that kind of like prison eating of like humped over, just like yum 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 yum.
Yeah, and like it isn't. I wouldn't say it's bad food because obviously I imagine you've obviously on the go a lot, given Crumbar's life, right? And obviously food is food, quite frankly, in a lot of like places. But yeah, it's not bad, quite frankly. It's just like somebody that doesn't know how to put meals or like tastes together. They've just put bits of everything.
It's just food, not a meal.
Yeah, there's like sweet, there's savoury, there's spicy, and there's bits of everything. It's just clearly this person didn't know how to feed you. So,
I'm good with that.
yeah.
But yeah, just kind of gnaw my way at it all, and like it's just drink the water unimpressedly that it's not alcoholic.
No, but it's very nice. Filtered water, very 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 nice and pure, if you will.
But yeah, and then like I just kind of like lean back, you know, once done, just like lean back and just start kind of like, and I was like, was the guy old or was he?
Yeah, he had like kind of like white hair throughout his beard. He was he moved deliberately slow. Like yeah,
Yeah,
he seemed
I just-
old for a dwarf at least.
yeah. I'll just be like, old man, I'm done.
Yeah, and I think you know, if it was like, you know, 15 minutes or whatever for you to eat or whatever, like a good 15 again pass before you hear the shuffling and the door opening. And even like without the tray, he walks in, just puts the door with his foot behind him, and he walks in and goes, "Oh, you ate it all." He's saying as he's
Like-
looking through the cell before he opens the door.
And I just kind of like pat myself in the tummy. I'm like, well, I'll do it till I get something to eat, you know.
No, you see, that was for eating. What did you do with it?
I just feel like, so that went over your head. Nope, ate it all. It was lovely. Thank you.
Oh, you'll be sick now.
Me sick? Never. The only thing I'm sick of is being in this cell.
Aye. He just agrees, just instantly. Aye, that makes sense. Like opens the door, walks in, picks up the the cup and the tray, and like just he goes, "Behave now." He just like randomly turns, points at you, and says that.
I'll be like, you'll get no trouble from me, old. What is your name?
Aye. Let's keep it to that, shall we? He just looks at you like a, as if he's accusing you of something.
I'll be
Like stare.
I'll be like, old man it is then.
Don't need to know your name. Don't need to know my name. I'm just to bring the food.
And I'll just kind of like tap my nose and I'll be like, everyone will know my name.
Well, aye, if you're as loud as you are to get my attention, you will, like, I'm sure they will. Aye. He kind of like shuffles back towards the door and like locks it again, and he goes, "If you keep it down, you're still here tomorrow. I might find a deck of cards." He shuffles away and closes the door.
I'll just laugh and just be like, see ya, not yet.
Goodbye, old dwarf.
Yeah. Yeah, and then guess I just kind of go sit back to being cellbound and just what actually is there in the cell?
So, there are 3, like, imagine it like a microwave, right? Where the kind of weird metal grating is over the front, right? That you can see through.
Right.
It's like, because it's dwarven, it's unnecessarily elaborate, right?
Obviously, naturally, right?
And it has that brass look to it as well, the kind of like the way the bars go. Again, dwarves do Art Deco, elves do Art Nouveau. So very elaborate, kind of grating at the cage, the main wall, if you will, and then the rest of it's solid stone. Like the bed slab is stone that comes out the wall. The like the kind of almost stone stool with the stone table, etc. That's probably about it. Besides the stone bucket, if you will, and that's what you've got.
All right, okay, cool. So there is like a bed, but like there's also like some.
Yeah, there's like you can
Um,
sit at a desk, which would allow you to eat. You're essentially got a couch / bed stone, and you have a toilet.
Well, I'm assuming. Sorry, Yanni. I'm assuming the bed will be the comfiest. So
It's stone. It's a stone slab.
I mean that as in I'll be able to lie down on it. So
Yeah, you could lie down in the cell, but like there's enough room to lie down in the cell. It's just the bed is just raised up as opposed to on the floor. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll go like kind of lie on that and just be like, do I have my belongings with me? Yeah.
No. You got nothing.
No. Okay. Yay! Stupid sexy Quimber.
You have like undergarment clothing, you know, the stuff you wore
Yeah.
under, like, well, the stuff you wore, I guess, now, because remember your armor was removed, so you had your under
Mm.
stuff on.
Yep. So I'll just lie on the bed and just
Like
be
your
like,
tracksuit, yeah.
yeah, and just be like, kind of like, hi Celeste, how am I going to get out of this? Be like, you sure have got me in a bloody interesting situation with that sword.
So what do you do for the remainder of your time, I guess, here until the next day? What's your plan?
Do I still have my pendant?
No, as I said, everything was taken from you.
Okay, right.
Also,
no.
hello, Siren Nishandra. Welcome. Happy Friday.
Oh, that's nice. Random inspiration. Yay!
Yep.
Such
So
such bard abilities.
whoever needs inspiration, you have inspiration from wonderful Siren Nishandra. Thank you.
I will sit up on the bed
Mhm.
and I will just not pray, but like focus my thoughts in towards Celeste.
Mhm.
Just kind of trying to commune with her. Just being like, you know, like just thinking and muttering, just being like, if you're there and you can aid me, please give me guidance.
Yeah. And how long do you go through that process? Describe it to us.
I'd probably sit there for a good 20, 30 minutes, kind of like in like a almost like a meditative state.
Mhm.
You know, like and then feeling that I would just after that I'd just be like, well, she's not picking up. And then I just focus on the idea of like the image of my pendant,
Mhm.
and see if I could commune with Odysseia.
Again, describe the scene for us. How long do you focus on that?
Yeah, same again. Probably spend the remaining, say, what, 30 minutes just focusing on the idea of big shiny boy.
Yeah.
You know, same idea. Not again, not like it's like a prayer, but more just trying to get some kind of
Yeah.
message to them, hoping that something would twig that makes them go, "Oh, someone's talking about me."
Yeah, I guess
Like their
ears are
ears
burning, yeah.
Yeah, they're just burning. Yeah.
I think gold dragons are immune to fire damage, so I don't know if we would notice. But yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, I think I think as you're in these like meditative states, right, and you're trying to like gauge time, and you're in this cell, and time passes. Obviously, I'll cut back to other people to catch up on what they did in the interim as well. But at this point,
Oh.
like time passes, and then the old guy comes back in, right?
Hmm.
And he goes, "Well, got your next meal for you. I found this, but you know, if you're sick, taking it back off you."
If
He's
I'm
gonna,
sick.
yeah, because he's got a meal again.
Oh, right. Sorry. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Meant to ask you last time if there was anything specific on the meal you enjoyed more than the rest of it. I didn't. That's on me. So I'm sorry for that. But I just decided to bring the same again. This time, you could point out what was best. That would be good. Because then I'll give you more of that.
Is there meat on the plate?
Yeah, there's bits of everything, right?
I just point at all the animal parts and just be like, "Them's be good."
Right.
More.
And he's like, I thought that, but then, you know, balance, I added this, and he goes to the salad area. And he goes, this is still important, so I'm going to make sure that's there too. And obviously, if you eat that, I'll make sure as much of that that's eaten, there'll always be as much meat. That seems like a
And
fair deal.
I'll just kind of like lean into it and just like be like, smells like serene.
I don't know what that means, but it's food, it's edible, it's good.
Right. I appreciate it, and I'll just sit down and start. eating
He's
away.
not even in the cell yet. He's the other side
Oh,
of
is
it.
he not? Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
No, he's just walked into the room that has the cell.
Right. Okay.
And then he says, because you've obviously smelled it through the Art Deco bars, and he's got like this like box with stuff in it next to him, which is the, you know, if you're sick, he'll take this back off you, is what he was gesturing to. He sits that down outside the cell, opens the cell, balancing awkwardly again, and like heads inside. Puts
See,
it
he
down.
like before he opens the cell, I would like step back.
Yeah,
You know, just to be like.
he seems like
yeah,
he's fussing with the tray more than he gives a shit about where you are anyway, right? Like
yeah,
he's
but it's
definitely.
more, it's more that kind of, yeah, I'm not just gonna try and run by you here, man.
Plus, the other door locks behind him anyway, so you'd be locked in a bigger room. That's all, if you rushed them, right? So that's how that would
Yeah.
work. So like you like walks in, sits it on your wee table, and he goes. So, when you're done, again, just shout. You know I'll hear you. You're a loud one. And then I'll show you the box. Don't like the box. You don't need to like it. You know, like, you know, puts his hand out like, you know. You don't like it, that's fine. If you wanna learn it, you know, I'll teach it. But
Learn the
just-
box.
just eat and then let me know. He like goes to shuffle away again and it closes the door, locks it, goes out the other door, and it shuts obviously behind him as he leaves. Yeah.
And he
yeah.
took the box with him.
No, the box is sat in like the room that the cell is in.
The corridor.
I wouldn't call it the corridor because the corridor's outside this room. But there's
Right.
more than one cell in this room.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. So in my mind, just for my own sake, so it would be like, there is that room that he was in. There's one cell. There's another cell. There's another cell.
If you
And
could
then
see other cells, I would
there's
say
the
yes, but you don't know because you can't see. You can just see the door he comes in, and obviously out of the Art Deco bars that face the door he comes in.
Okay. Right. I know exactly the type of setup you're on about.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's left the box.
Yeah, so that's sat outside in, as I said,
Right. So I can't reach it.
it's not in your cell, but it's in the jail. Yes.
Oh. Right. Okay. So if I can't reach that, I'll be like, well,
Yeah, you can't fit anything through the bars.
I'll just kind of look at it and be like, well, box. Can I?
You cannot inside the box.
I was gonna say, can I investigate? Can I
You can use
investigate?
perception from this distance, but not investigate. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that would make more
Mhm.
sense. Perception.
What are you trying to gain? What were you trying to learn?
If I know what it is, like, you know, is it just a box, or is it, you know, is it a musical box? Is it a game? Is it a, you know?
Do you speak Dwarven? I think you do, right? Or do you not?
Don't.
You don't, then this will be difficult, but yeah, you can roll.
I'm tempted to use my inspiration here.
I mean, your inspiration or the inspiration offered to people who need it?
No, I've got inspiration.
Then carry on.
No, I'm using it because, you know, why else have it?
Exactly.
Perception, yeah.
Right, exactly. Use it because it's fun. It's perception, yeah. Mhm.
Not persuasion. They look too bloody similar. It could be worse.
Why can I never find this? There we go. Here's what I
Why
wanna
can I
find.
never find the box?
No, it was your
What's in the box?
it was your character sheet I wanted to look at. That's all.
I get nothing from. It's just.
No, it's fine.
great.
It doesn't matter. It was something else I was looking for. Okay, yeah. So you look at it, and from what you can tell from looking at it, it looks like some kind of container, right? But it's intricate. It's clearly, obviously, dwarven in design. Beyond that, though, you can't really gain much from it like if you'd had any kind of like dwarven background of any kind, I could maybe have like pushed the 15 to mean more, but it sadly doesn't. Mostly it just looks like a box that maybe has almost like a fancy trinket box, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's as much as
I
you
know.
can kind of gain from this distance and
So
your backgrounds.
on that, I'll just be like, well, box.
We don't know if this grows into a full Bastiel, right?
Mhm.
Like,
I'll just stare at him and be like, oh God. I'll just be like, well, box.
Callie.
I guess I gotta eat up before I get to you then. And then like I'll just like be
The box
staring
stares back at you,
like-
unmoving, inanimate.
and then it laughs. It's a mimic. Yeah, and then I'll be like, no, the joke is that the entire jail is a mimic. Yeah, and I'll just kind of like, while I'm eating, I'll just be like talking to the box and just be like, yeah, wonder where you came from then, box.
I will let you know just
What-
now,
what-
the box
what-
will not reply.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's the only company
Uh-huh.
I have right now.
Mhm.
So while I'm eating away, I'll just be making like small talk with the box.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you tell it
And
anything
then,
interesting beyond small talk?
so beyond small talk, I'll be like, it's like, yeah, like I'll be like, I'm only in here because I got given something so powerful that an absolute, what's the word?
Bastard.
I'm like, in the American term, banny of a person came in, gave and came in and gave me yes, exactly. Came in and came down from wherever the hell they came down from and just gave me nothing but grief until they could get this sword off me. And you know what's so annoying about that? Is the fact that all I wanted to do was use it to seal this bloody breach, and it's now gone, and I'm in this cell, all because she went absolute postal and murdered a bunch of dwarves.
Like you hear something
Handle
cutting over you, right? And you hear muttering going, well, swords are for cutting, not for sealing. As the old dwarf shuffles back in the door.
And be like, not Jet. You're back.
Yeah, he turns round and looks back out the door behind him and then he kind of steps in and boots it closed again and goes, told you it would be.
Sorry, it's hard to keep track of time in this place. Thank you again for the food.
Aye. I mean, so I told you I'll bring you food. You finished? He looks to see your empty, tray.
Yeah, and I'll be like, yes, thank you. That was lovely.
Aye. Well, and Goodley walks up to the door and opens the door and walks in and just picks up the cup and stuff and puts it on the tray and shuffles back out and locks the door again.
I was just kind of like, as he's kind of picking up the tray, I'll just wink at him and go, no, sorry, as he's picking up the cup, I'll just wink at him and go, some wine would be good next time.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. Just looks at you. Didn't take you from a wine drinker though. He kind of just dismisses you with that, and then heads to the door and shuts it. He sets the tray down, where he set the box, and says, "Mead is the drink you want, son, not wine."
I'll just
Not
slap my
mead.
hands together and rub them, and be like, oh, now you're talking.
There'll be none of that.
Have you?
Water only.
Understandable. Thought
Okay.
I'd ask.
You'd be sick. Have to clean it. No. And I wouldn't have this. He taps the box.
So what is the box?
Well, you'll find out. So, he shuffles this big stone slab of a kind of table out from under the one he set everything on, and it just sits against the bars of the cell. As I said, all these bars are all crisscrossed and interlaced, and as I said, dwarven. And he goes, right, so, and he opens the box in 4 parts that all unfold, and it's essentially a chess set. And he starts to
nice.
set it up, and he goes, now, it's like a fight, but not like a between you and me for real fight.
Or just, like,
These
crack-
pieces fight.
they're like, these pieces are too tiny to fight. I could easily crush them.
Yes. I've seen small people fight big people. Not a big deal. And then he points all the pieces, and he just starts like describing how they move, right?
Mm.
And he goes, now, how it works is you take a turn, I take a turn, you take a turn, I take a turn, you know. Keep in mind, Crumbar played chess with a god, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, so it is the same game. It is the same chess
This
game.
It's not the same as the chess you played with Janus. No, this
Right,
is like a
okay, no.
dwarven variant, clearly.
Okay.
Kind of closer to Viking chess, you could say.
Don't know, but
It's very different. So
okay.
yeah, he sets it up anyway, and then he goes up to the side of the cell, and he starts like turning like a fairly big cog-looking thing, and all of the bars all start to like rotate as if it's like pipework all moving and shifting, and it allows like more space between the bars, where it all like
Oh.
almost like forms, and it allows you to like put your hands through the bars. And he goes, now, you can go first. And remember, those ones can't move yet.
Right.
Excuse me.
So
Now, you can choose. Hit me up with a skill you think is appropriate to strategize, and then roll it. So what skill do you think is appropriate? MD can answer this question, by the way.
I'm
Since-
thinking either intimidation or athletics.
Nope, you cannot intimidate a chess game.
No worries.
Oh.
I would have maybe said insight.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
thinking.
Try and read his moves.
The problem is Crumbar has to go first.
So
yeah,
I'm
that's a problem.
But insight's not a bad one to do like the whole game. Yeah, I think is good.
Yeah, I'm trying to just think.
Sadly, there's no
Um,
strategize skill, which bugs me about
Mhm.
D&D, because, you know,
Mm.
like warfare and planning and, you know...
Oh.
that.
What about survival?
Sure. I think you could apply some bullshit of survival into this, yeah? Why not?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know, because a battle strategy is how to survive. So.
You know, episode 9, fuck it. See what happens.
Blah! Oh crap! Sorry, that's really bad.
It's okay, I'll take the 14. So,
I'd rather you take the 19.
I'm sure you would, yeah. Okay, cool. And what I'd like you to do now is, I think that's a very good idea from Isla. So do you want to do insight for the rest of the game?
Where's she said that? Oh yeah, no, she just yeah, okay.
Insight is what we need to roll next, and that'll be like how you're reading the game is how it's going. So we'll do survival and insight, and I'll make him do his survival and his insight, and we'll compare and we'll see how the game turned out after the whole game has been played out.
Would I roll insight now?
Yes, you do.
Kablam! 3. 10.
It's not bad, not bad.
I have no modifiers on it, so it's like
Okay, so the way this played is he got a better survival roll than you, but he got a very bad insight roll by comparison to you.
yay! Somehow that's good.
No, so how that translates is he is a better strategist, but he can't read you, and that makes perfect sense, right?
Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Aha, because he doesn't recognize the strategies that you're using because you're just going, you said this could move here, so I'll move that there. And you said this could
Yeah.
move here, so I'll move that there. And he doesn't know how to deal with that. But throughout the course of that, the game probably lasted longer than he expected the first game to last, right? But the exchange is mostly just him being confused that you did as well as you did given his actual skill at this game. And at the end, he clearly wins, and he goes, you see, here, and he points at, like, you know, where the victory lies on the board. He goes, this is, at this point, this is where I did it. And he starts to go into like a bit more detail about explaining how he got you to go there. But he also compliments the fact he goes, he didn't understand how to get you there because what he tried you had ignored. He thought that was quite a cunning move. That you'd ignored his if I make this move here, it'll force him this way, but it didn't because you didn't recognize the strategies.
Mhm.
So obviously you just went, they've went here. I'll go meet them. And he's like, no, that's not you're meant to go the other way. So he explains completely as if he is assessing the game between the two of you. And he sits and he says, it was actually quite a good game. Well,
They're like, what?
he just says, well.
I'm like, that was thoroughly enjoyable. I've got, and I just kind of look around. He's like, seems like I've got nothing about time. Shall we stack them up again?
He rolls insight on you to see if that was bullshit or not. If you actually meant it was thoroughly enjoyable or not.
Wow.
It was. I enjoyed it.
He also rolled a 7. It's not like we're writing home about what he got for his insight. Apparently he's really bad at insight, according to what I've learned from rolling for him.
Yay.
But yeah, so he cleans up the board, packs it away again, sits the box on that kind of, as I said, the desk in the jail area, and he says, well, we're back tomorrow. He lifts the tray up and walks away again.
Because he left the box.
The box is sat in the room, yeah. But he's turned the bars and everything back, so they're all shimmied back. You wouldn't have been able to reach it anyway. It's at the other side of the room. And there's a lot of space between there. And Crumbar, while he's big, he cannot. Yeah, he can't reach.
He's not Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Space,
yeah. And so you've got that, but you've essentially just played chess with this old man, which he seemed impressed that you'd either picked up really quickly or you thought you were more deviously cunning than you were, and it was just that you didn't understand what his strategies were. Yeah. But what you can take from that experience is that you've already been in this cell for a day. Because he's given you 2 meals. It definitely doesn't feel like you've been in here for a day, by the way.
Oh.
Remember you sat and meditated a couple of times and then he turned up again and he was like, yeah, here's a box. So, yeah, you've definitely 0 perception of time in this place.
Is there any kind of loose stones or anything like that lying on the floor?
No, this place is immaculate. The stone is perfectly cut as well. None of it's chipped or anything. It's the
So I take
cell
it,
walls.
I have nothing that I could scratch or not like a numeral into the wall.
You have tusks, right?
Let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not.
Good armor.
Mm-hmm.
Armor's part of your body. They can't confiscate that.
Yeah, but molten gold isn't really a scratchy material.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Because, sorry,
What
just
I
to
will
expound
do-
upon that for Shan's interest as well, Scott asked me randomly off stream one day, would heat metal actually work on the armor? And I went, I don't know and I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Fuck. You just microwave.
Right? It's Googling Google. Nobody needs it. Right? Don't do it.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
I'll never
I know
use
what
it
I'm gonna-
against you. It'll be fine.
I know what I'm gonna do. So I am going to take my thumb and I will stick my thumb with with my tooth till it bleeds.
Right?
And then I will just use that and just mark one line on the wall.
Okay.
Just a kind of a tally mark. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Point of damage. It's not like it matters, but yeah, I feel like it's important.
I'm literally about to get a long rest.
I mean, you've done a long rest's worth of waiting, right? You've already long rested in the library, and then obviously you came here, and you've had another day of rest.
Oh well, point of damage. Okay.
Yeah, right? It's not like you're in peril currently. So, meanwhile, back in time. Dondrabella, Bastiel. I hope you've had enough time to write a 25-word letter.
Yeah, I've got it.
Good. Hit me up.
Sit down and I say to her, 7 dwarven husbands, huh?
So she
You
goes,
know, with the Snow White hair, your character, I'm sure that would make a fantastic book for your library.
she looks at you and she goes, what are you trying to imply?
Nothing. I just think it would make a good story.
Narrows her eyes at you and she goes, yeah, it's kind of wispy grey, not really Snow White, but I kind of get the flattery. I told you I'm spoken for. She gives you like a cheeky look.
Now, more of the burning juice.
Yes, more of the burning ginger. Slaps the bar, and obviously the bartender just obviously just like rolls their eyes. They scream and they go off and get more booze for both of you. There's probably like a bunch of empty flagons around you already. The pub is probably called something like I don't know, the Rocky Rubble or something really dumb, right? One of the lesser frequented ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm literally just calling it the Rocky Rubble.
Subtle
That'll
goose.
do. Well, the Quick Gooseberry was clearly one of the best named pieces of fiction I've ever worked on. Yeah, the Rocky Rubble pub. Yeah. And yeah, you just get more drinks, and then she looks at you and she goes, well, I'm trying to work on Husband 8. And
What?
the booze arrives. Remember, she was engaged.
What are you doing?
She had 7 husbands, and she had like an 8th. And so she looks at you, she goes, what's all this animosity? She looks at you like in hicks, because clearly several of the flagons are getting to her now.
Come now, Dondrabella. You know that would have been a priority from the start. You'd been more open about that. Where is he now? Go see him.
She looks at you and goes, why? You're after him now? She kind of gives you another cheeky look. You know I've got taste.
Okay.
She winks.
Right.
And then she says, you bloody knew about him before we left.
I'm just kind of... Well, you let me forget.
I don't know how you work. Just looks you up and down.
Me neither. And I'm working in sips in between, examining the kind of shoulder joint of the arm, kind of poking out of the sack.
I kind of love the
And
idea
then
that it's
I'll-
maybe just sat on the bar, and around it are just sat these discarded flagons, and it's just you two sat at the bar taking up the most
Yes, it's
obnoxious
like
amount of
most-
space possible.
It's just Mos Eisley's cantina now.
Yeah,
Like space trash everywhere.
that guy who actually
Oh.
lost an arm there as well, yeah. Yep, there we go. Sorted. You want Obi-Wan to walk in and cut your arm off for you, yeah? I am 112 bar tabs! Oh dear. Yep. So yeah,
So now you kind of hear the sizzling of the alcohol hitting
Hmm.
the sauce as I kind of think, and I devise this message that I will send to Flitwick.
yeah.
It'll be I'll say his name loudly. I'll be like Flitwick, just in case, because I don't know what time it is.
And as you do
I
that,
want to
she
wait.
raises a flag and goes, Flitwick, with you. Just in solidarity.
Sorry, who's Flitwick again?
Oh my god, Scott. It's okay, we'll come back to you.
I say Flitwick, it's Bastiel. Found new arm in Ulrich Brewblade's workshop. How do I go about installing it? Reply in 25 words. Please, thanks.
And obviously, as she's like finishing her flagon, she like slams the table by the time you've finished the spell. Can I post it in chat just so we know it's off on its merry journey? Yes, Scott, he is the one that made the rings for you.
Yay!
Yeah.
I remember that thing.
Yep. Well done, buddy. And we'll get that on the go. We're bam. Yeah. And yeah, you get something back that is mostly questioning all the things that he has no clue about, like what's an Elric Blue Braid and all that. Like all those details are questioned. And he goes, "Can I see it? Bring it to me." Is basically the crux of the reply regarding the arm. Or like something excitedly like, "Oh, I must see it then. Bring it to me." Right? Because the gist of it. But the first half of the message definitely, what does this mean? What's this? And who's this? And why should I know this detail?
Oh,
But
well,
there's
sizzling into the sauce.
not a word is wasted though. With the reply, everything is
Okay,
filled.
good.
Yeah, but it is mostly just essentially he's going. Who's Eric Brewblade and blah 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 blah. All those details all the way up, right up until he goes, "Just bring me the arm. I need to see it."
He's not foaming at the mouth, ranting and raving.
Oh, but remember he was quite excited. Remember, like last time, when you were talking to each other, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at a moment. Yeah.
There's a wee bird that you just eats seeds that stores them. Yep.
Oh, so cool.
It's like, what's it for? I just collect seeds. Oh, okay. Like, yep. Yeah. So you send it off. You get your reply. What's you and Don Drabella's plan? Because I mean, I assume you just decide at some point to like call it a day in the pub and go back to the library. I assume, or maybe you don't.
Yeah. If he says, "Can I see it?" then I'm going to think about the Eye of Janus, and I'm going to go, "Wait, where the fuck is Crumble?"
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think if you say that out loud as your thought process, because maybe you're going through the reply in your brain, obviously, and then you think out loud, so as not to incur accidentally sending the spell again. Donabella goes, it's been awfully quiet. Where is he? And she kind of just
He's
looks
staring.
around as if you'd be in the pub, right?
Oh, shit.
She looks
I
and goes,
should have probably called him first.
can you not do it again? She just like taps almost like cheersing you on your elbow with the cup.
I don't think I can, right? I used it twice on the who was it? I think last game I used it twice.
Okay, and I mean, it's just a 5% chance, right?
Oh.
What do you mean?
Like, the only downside is if you're doing the second stage, which is a 5% chance, and that's if they're on a different plane of existence. So the only thing would be slots, right? Spell slots.
Yeah, I could just use a highest level slot.
Yeah.
So use 3 levels.
Yeah. You got-
Okay. Fine. I use a 4th level slot. Basically, cast divination on Crumbar.
Yay!
Is it divination or is it sending with a higher slot?
It's sending.
Yeah.
It's sending with a
What do you say to Crumbar?
awfully quiet. Where are you? Get back here with the eye. We're worried about you.
And I don't know, some kind of location, maybe. Yeah.
Forge needs you.
That's good. That message gets sent off, and Crumbar, you definitely never heard that during like your day of meditation.
Oh, so I didn't hear it at all?
No.
Oh.
It's got like special cells.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you get no reply back, Bastiel, so I don't know how disconcerting that is for you, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thunderbell just
do have
waits
one
and then just
thing I
looks at
wanna
you and
do.
goes, well, as if, what did he say? You know, hanging off you, essentially.
I grip the cup and say, "No response." That's a first.
That's,
Oh,
nev-
second.
that's never good. She tips your cup up into your mouth just automatically, and then she just finishes her other one that she had sitting, and then she goes, well, to the library, let's go. Just like gets up and starts
Yeah.
walking out, as if we fucked around enough, let's go help. Like, yeah. She's definitely not exactly
Yeah, she's like-
unconcerned about Crumbar now.
Yeah. She's pushing the cup into my face, and my brow's like furrowed, casting like a shadow over it, like half serious, half jogging.
Yep, just hearing the hissing. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. So good. Aye. Yep, and then you just leave. I assume you do follow her back to the library.
Yeah, run.
Yeah. I think as you are leaving, the bartender's like shouting after her in Dwarven, just saying, "And who's paying for this?" And she's just saying, "I don't know. I'll get that." And she goes, "Aye, aye, yours and everybody else's."
Yeah.
And she just leaves because she's ballsy enough to call the king
Really?
by his first name. Yeah. So, aye, right, Arya.
Okay.
Trying to keep all the timelines as synced up as I can, so bear with me as
Yep.
I jumble this. Not juggle, jumble.
I basically want to ask him if there were others that could hear
So it did answer
he
that,
could
right?
talk to.
Like you had that answer.
Oh shoot! I
essentially,
didn't take a note of it.
it said,
Oh, brain.
excuse me.
Yeah, that there had been others, but I have no idea when and
There
what.
were-
Okay,
there were-
so I'm guessing I'm
Yeah.
on my way.
There were others who could hear. So yeah, like essentially, I'm just saying, like, what did you do at stage 2 of your plan? Yeah, like, what's the next step? Because I think you
well,
said you were going
I
to go off and see
came
if
in
you can
here-
find out more.
Yeah, but because I'm here, right? And because technically I told what's his name that I am here
Atraventus?
to help, I'll use a level 3 spell to cast plant growth just as an action.
Right, okay.
So it would just make the things that are right now.
Yeah.
And just to check with you, obviously, before I do it, it does say to make them like overgrown and such. So I'm guessing that like maybe a tomato plant that had like 2 tomatoes is gonna like make like 7
Yeah.
more or something. Like it would still be that instead of making it into weeds and stuff they wouldn't want, right? So they would still be like
I think the problem
good
is
and
this place has
helpful
already
and-
had like the nuclear dose of that spell, so what you throw into it again is like dropping a cup of water into the sea, right? So you do that, and it's hard to tell if it's more, right? Because the place is lush as hell, right? As I
Well,
said, like
I'll
this
know I've done it, so at least
exactly, and he definitely felt the magic go and do its thing, right? Like there was that kind of like that level of connect to it, yeah. But you can throw that
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Yeah, as as I leave, right, as I'm just getting up, because I'm guessing I kind of like, I like to think I was perhaps kneeling on the ground with both my hands on the soil, sort of thing. I'll get up, and in my head, I will say, I will be back and try to help you. And I don't know if he'll hear me or not, but I'm just saying it as I'm leaving, and then I'll make my way out.
Yeah, and there's definitely you
maybe back
can
towards
feel it
the
when you're in that room.
library?
Like when you're in that room, you can definitely feel it is listening. If that makes sense, like you know it's there.
Yeah.
Like, you have that like almost like that static feeling, like you know there's something there.
And just because obviously I'm quite good with orientation, like really good with orientation. I know I'm inside a thingy. I don't
Yeah.
know if that would work at all. But I was wondering if I could get a sense of like whereabouts in the volcano this is. If this is like, well, not volcano, on the mountain. If this is like further down or further up or like more towards the center of it, or if I could get an idea of where this room is compared to
The growing
the
chambers
rest
are
of
quite
the
low
mountain.
in the mountain, very low
Quite
down.
low.
Yeah. Like the throne room is quite low down in the mountain, and so is like this place, and the library, the secret library, is quite low down as well. A lot of them,
Okay.
slightly more public sectors, if you will, are slightly further up, but a lot of it, most of Forge is deep in the mountain.
Okay.
Like you could probably take the top half of Forge, the mountain, away, and you'd never see dwarf signs, right? That's how deep they start, if that makes sense. They didn't necessarily build a giant tower all the way up to the top.
Sure.
I'm not saying there isn't one, I'm
Okay.
just saying you could reasonably make the guess you could probably cut the mountain in half that you can see on the surface, lift it away, and expect to see no
And
dwarfs.
this is still like
Mhm.
in the lower bit of the
Yeah.
bits that the dwarves would inhabit. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm guessing I know what this is, but yeah, If I get the option, I'll definitely wanna like
Hmm.
stay till tomorrow and then
Yeah.
commune with nature. But I don't think I'm gonna get that chance, so I'm just gonna try to make my way back to the secret library if I remember
Yeah.
the way
No, you do. Yeah, that's
and
fine.
such.
And on the way, two dwarfs in full like armor, like clearly like step in your way, and they say, "I, Miss Bluebird,
Yes. Greetings.
apologies about the abruptness, but the authority would like a word.
Oh, of course.
This way." And then they escort
I
you.
will follow them
Yeah.
because I know better than to deny the white an audience.
Mhm. And yeah, you're led straight back to the throne room. So yeah, you get to the throne room, and then they stand at the doors, and then like one of them opens the door for you, and then like motions for you to go in.
Oh, okay.
They're quite
I will
like
go in.
they're very polite with you as well. Like they understand you have position here, right? You can gauge that from the way they're
Oh,
treating you. And yeah, so that you go in and then the door gets closed behind by the dwarf, like to give privacy.
I will be like all smiles and polite and like nodding as if they're doing me a favor, you know, like, oh, thank you so much, you know, as if I can find my way on my own. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, just to let them know that like I appreciate the respect that they are offering me, especially since I'm technically and by birth not really a dwarf.
Yeah, you have the title of dwarven nobility though. You are noble
Yes,
bluebird.
I'm naturalized, as
Yeah.
they would say.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're in the big obviously room. I assume you cross the big
Oh, of course.
walkway up to the throne, and obviously Kandira is standing, like just like not pacing up and down, but you can imagine she probably might have been moments ago. She's got like her arms
Why did you
clasped.
speak to my mountain spirit?
And she's got like her hands clasped behind her back, and in her hand is a very familiar red shiny jewel.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And you approach, and she turns around, and she smiles at you,
another one?
and she says, "Thank you for being swift."
Oh, you're most welcome. I was just getting back to my party, and
She puts her hand up
I've
to
been
stop
told
you,
I'm needed.
and then she lifts her other hand up out to you with the eye.
I will nod and very respectfully, you know, take it and kind of look and say, "This is the one Crumbar had, right?"
Yes, it was, and you can
Oh.
hear disappointment in that voice when she says it.
Oh God, what happened?
And then she looks in and she says, "I think you are somewhat familiar with the fallout from this event." I don't know if she'd use the term fallout, that seems a bit nuclear for this world, but you get what I mean.
A bit nuclear.
It does though, right? It's a bit modern.
Mm.
But the whatever the fantasy equivalent of Fallout would be, yes. Well, you can edit it in post, it's fine. She says, yes. Seems his celestial problem has been resolved, but not without cost to me. But this is
Oh.
yours. It does not belong to me.
Thank you. Yes. As I'm sure we've mentioned, of course, we're very upset about the path of destruction that ours left in their way to get to where the sword is. That was not something we were expecting in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, like she has like her
Sorry,
polite
but-
face on, if that makes sense, and she's definitely not emoting, right? Yeah, she's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
looking
yeah.
like this is polite, yes, exchanging, yes, mm-hmm. And she says,
And no, this doesn't make up for it in any way, shape, or fashion.
I am holding your companion in a cell currently.
Oh. Oh, so he's here.
Do you wish to speak to him?
Yes, I would like to know what happened and what's going on and oh, so that's where he is. Oh, I thought I might have to try to use this to find him. Or I thought maybe you just found this and not him as well and oh.
If he is not released, you may have his possessions in case there is other items he held that you require to complete your task. I will not stand in the way of that. Nods, like, politely at that.
Harry, get me out of jail,
What
please.
is to
Ask his skin.
what is to
Okay.
become of him? Is
That-
he just
That
stay in
remains to be
jail?
seen. You may speak with him tomorrow. I will make arrangements
Oh,
for
of
that,
course.
and he will be sentenced the
course.
following day.
Guys, just a second. Is there something that we really wanted to ask the Whites? 'Cause
Yeah,
my
so
brain
you don't have a wee player
is
agency
confused.
moment? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, my
I
brain
goes.
kind of has an inkling that there was something, but now I don't know. And it's
Well,
Tell her, like, we completed a goal that says we trust you. Wink.
just having a
Oh.
look. See if she can put us back in touch with Vishal.
well,
Oh.
I actually just really wanted to tell her about how I have an agreement with Hela to save the dwarves, and then coincidentally now it turns out that might actually be what frees Crumbar, because
You told
maybe
us that.
No,
yeah, no one.
Yeah,
Nobody knows that
Arya
yet.
doesn't know. Does she? Okay.
not
I
yet.
was like, what's this now?
But that is something
Oh.
that you could. So, for example, Arya could ask if the others could speak with Crumbar, and that may segue Bastiel somehow into this, but I don't know how. That's a bit of a stretch, but it's a chance, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Would we
Bastiel
be
could
able to
always just
speak-
ask. Bastiel could just ask to speak to the White at some point. Once Arya says Crumbar has been arrested and he'll be held and then sentenced. ... Like that,
Yeah, he's doing that regardless
Mhm.
of anything. He just
Yeah.
wanted to do that before he leaves to get.
I'm
her
just
aid
saying
with.
there is ways you can not meta to get that to happen. Though, is what I'm saying is you could easily get that. It's just a second conversation with Candir, and you need to have Arya and Bastiel share information, and then get Bastiel to the White.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But that can happen. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like one of our last points in it was like if she gave us the eye back, it proved
Mhm.
the trust. But I think that's
Yeah.
the last thing I remember
yeah,
us.
that's definitely
Yeah.
a thing. You
point.
know what, guys? I'm actually tempted to bring this up with her to ask her because she is obviously insanely powerful, and she's a white dragon, and I'm guessing that she'd be very like in tune with things that are fire damage
I mean, she is kind of an elemental,
or fire
right?
spirits.
I say that in the loosest
Yeah.
concept, not the D&D strict
Yeah,
concepts.
yeah.
Mhm.
Sure, yeah. So I'm thinking that she'd probably be at least aware, if not
I mean, you could ask her, right?
able to speak to this thing. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely mention it. But I just wasn't sure if there was something else that any of you wanted to cover that my brain was just having a bit of a moment.
Callie,
It's
anything to cover with the White?
I don't think so. No.
That's cool. Make sure I wanted to check in with her
Okay.
with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so back in the scene with Candir.
Yes. I'll say thank you very much for this. I look forward to speaking to him, and I'm sure my friends would as well. We all will want to know what has happened. May I ask? There is something in here that I am able to communicate with. I keep feeling it in the growth chamber. Do you
Chip,
think that
Chiplinks.
there's some sort of spirit of the mountain?
She looks at you and she says,
Something old that was there when dwarves moved in, which I'm assuming would have been a long time ago.
You are listening to the Heart of the Mountain, I take it.
Yes.
Does she just cackle with madness? Go, yes!
That was out
What?
of character. That was just Adrian's way of getting
What
happy.
did you
Um,
say there?
It's the heart of the mountain. And that's what I said earlier. I was like, I'm talking to frickin' Tafiti. It's the heart, which was the heart of the mountain. I'll say, yes, I believe I was.
She gives you a look and she
Said
says,
it was.
I would advise caution there. My brother always wished to consume this. And she gives you like a pretty severe look.
Do you mean the red wishes to consume the heart of this mountain?
She kind of like rolls her eyes a bit, as if she forgets that she's speaking to people that don't understand the way dragon minds work. So she kind of like rolls her eyes and she goes,
Yeah.
The red, Predir, my brother. Yes, take your pick. And she kind of like shrugs at that, as if she sometimes forgets what people have called them through the, ages that have existed.
I mean, she's got a brother that's green as well, right? As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. So
Yeah.
my brother, I'm like,
Mhm.
if one of them was called Jim and one of them was called John, I'd be asking like,
Yeah, exactly, right?
Jim or
But like,
John?
it makes sense. But yeah, that's what she
So-
replies. She just replies explaining, yes, she means the red.
Oh. Yes,
See,
I was just trying to figure out if this was a positive or negative sort of energy, if it was good or bad, if it could in some way help, but
She looks at you
it
and she
does.
says, it depends on your perspective. Are you in the burning house or are you cold by the burning fire?
Yes, I do believe that its energies are related to fire. That is something uh I well, not figured out.
I cannot speak to the whispers my brother claimed he heard, for I do not hear them, but he wished to level this mountain to find the source of them. And I am the
Oh.
reason this mountain stands.
you could maybe ask what would happen if you freed it.
Yeah. It spoke to me and it said it wanted to be freed. It said it wanted freedom and growth and to live, but it's
She
sad,
laughs.
I guess it
She
will
just
not be
laughs.
freed. It would not live long.
And she says, I'm sure it would find something to consume.
Did you say it or he?
I'm sure it would find something to consume. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing to her, right? She doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, she's basically described her mad brother hearing whispers. Wanting to level a mountain to find out what's at the bottom. Like a dog digging in the garden, be like, what's down here?
And if you don't mind, have you? I can't remember if we ever asked this guy, so I'm just gonna.
It's okay,
ask
ask
you
again.
Have you heard of somebody called Mistress of the Flame?
I think
It's
no,
a phrase
you
I've
have
been hearing
you
from
have
some
covered
poets.
this in
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I'm
because
sorry.
this all came up because remember Vishal was in the room as well when all this came up the first time round, so it's all been covered. Yeah.
Okay, my bad, my bad, my bad. Okay, I have some notes, but obviously, yeah, not that. Okay.
Maybe just check to see if she can put us back in touch with Vishal.
Got Vishal on the old phone again. Speed dial him, please. Yeah.
I guess.
It depends like, if Arya
Uh,
would think to do that, because keep in mind,
Yeah.
as much as it is something you want to do, it isn't like this is the last conversation with Candaria you're ever gonna have, right?
I know.
That's
know.
true.
I think what the only thing I will say is something like we've been doing some research, and it does sound like what we heard from that that man that you brought in front of us is
Yes, this
seems to have some
priest.
foundation. Yes, he said something about, well, it was pertaining to a prophecy, and we've seen some of the same sort of writings in our research. So he might not have been just trying to um, not influence, intimidate with his sayings. Um, I thought that was noteworthy and interesting. Um, may I ask, where was he when you found him? May to pay him a visit.
She looks at you and says, "Do you wish me to reach out for you again?"
Oh no, I was just curious where he was the first time because, well, and I just kind of like lift the stone in front of her, kind of like
I think
I
she
really
walks
wouldn't want to
forward,
trouble you.
probably like way quicker than you expect her to be in your face, and she pulls like a leaf out of your hair and holds it up to you. And then you see it like just freeze and shatter into like dust. So fine, it's like glitter in there. And she says, "Not somewhere you can stand, unfortunately."
Oh,
And she steps back and starts walking back up the steps to the throne again.
I'll just nod and say, I understand. Thank you. I shall trouble you um no no longer.
She laughs at
Will
that and she says,
find
"If you need my help, I sit here. You're in Forge." And she like waves vaguely at the side of like the throne room, and then she sits on the throne.
Yeah, I'll nod respectfully.
Yeah, and she's basically saying, "I am here to help," but she's saying it in that kind of very,
Yes.
"Do not push me, but if you need me."
Yeah.
Yeah, very strained words.
Mixed messages there, but
Yeah. Mhm.
um, I will like lift up the I was about to say the rock, the eye, a little bit again and say, thank you again for this. I shall go and find
She like waves off
my
the kind of almost
friends.
the thanks, and she says, "Use it wisely."
I'll just nod and kind of like respectfully make my way out.
Mhm.
Maybe even a little like bow or curtsy or whatever on the way,
Yeah.
and then go and go back to the library as I was intending to. But obviously, before I go, I will put the eye safely again and just be like,
As you're leaving,
"Precious, you
you
have
get
been
halfway
waiting."
through the walkway, and you hear her voice cut
Oh,
through the air, and she says,
oh
"Wait."
shit.
And then there's like a
Yes.
rush of cold air, and she's just standing in front of you. And she says, "Ask Serene to visit me. I will
I
send
out.
and I will send word to you tomorrow when you can visit your colleague. Or
Of
companion's the word
course.
she'd use, yeah.
Ask if
Of
you
course.
could ask if the rest of us could come then.
Yeah, is it visiting hours for
That was
everybody or?
that was gonna be the plan, to be honest. I'm going to tell you guys that I'm seeing
I will
him, but I'm dragging all of you along.
I was gonna say I will 100% guarantee Candir does not give a fuck who goes. Like
Yeah.
It's gonna be a stickler.
Yeah.
like she does not give a fuck. Like
That's not a guest book.
yeah. Like maybe the dwarf bureaucrats care, she doesn't. Yeah.
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 I will nod in agreement and then make my way out
Yep. Where'd you go?
to the big secret library
Hell
where
yeah.
I believe people were.
So, everybody's
unless
in the big
it's
secret
loose, I
library.
don't know, but hey.
Wonderful. We all collect back in the big secret library. Look at that, except Crumbar, but we'll get there.
Rescue us!
It's okay.
You left us for so
I'm off doing my
long.
own shit. It's fine.
Yeah, he's got his own side quest with learning chess. The Crumbit Gambit. The Crumbar Gambit, even.
I do feel whenever anyone arrives, I don't know about Serene, but Isla definitely looks at them like, please help us.
So I
Please.
think for most of that time, Serene would have been pouring through that book, because that would have been like a mighty tome's worth of multiple stories. So that would have taken, like, as I say, I said an hour, but it's probably more like a few hours, realistically, getting through a whole book. Especially if it's not in your initial language as well. So yeah, it'd take a while to get through. Obviously, Isla, you helped working with Rasira. Anything in addition you want to do with that? Because I can give you some more time with that if you want to do something else before everything comes back. Are you happy to leave it as is and have people
I'm
back?
happy to, because I feel like he's very focused.
Yes, forward is the way. Yes.
Yep. I don't feel like I'm going to get much out of him that isn't, yes, my patron, and then
wink. Yeah.
why aren't we doing what we should be doing?
Yeah.
So I feel she tries to like wheedle, but
Yeah.
she's just like, oh, okay. I've
And
learned a lot about the things you made when you were 12, and how much you love Magna, but that's about it.
Can you roll persuasion for me?
Sure. Oh, I'm not terrible at that. Let's see how this goes. Hey, I don't know why that was with advantage.
It's okay.
I'm, so
I'm taking
sorry.
the first roll anyway.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, you learn through chatting to him the first thing he ever made enchanted was a rock that floats 2 meters off the ground, and it still does to today.
Aw,
And he's very proud of that.
that.
that's a really cool science project.
Like, he is just so happy with that.
Oh, I give lots of positive praise.
Uh-huh.
I reinforce.
And he'll probably talk for a good half an hour solid before he catches himself
Great.
rambling. About just like how he had an idea and nobody else believed in it, and like he went and gathered the materials, and of course his trust fund came in handy, but that's not the point. And blah blah blah. Loads of just clearly, he is very much a privileged person. But he is also like, he might be pampered and privileged, but he is smart. You are learning this. Like what he's done is
It's backed up.
Yeah, he isn't there. Like, again though, thinking about what you know about Magna wouldn't tolerate useless people.
Yeah.
And this guy has had a lot of help to get to be as good as he is, but he is good.
Is Omen a floating city? Have I made that up in my head?
I don't know because you've never been.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just wondering if it was
but
like,
no, like
oh,
as
I
far
wonder
as
if this
most people know,
connects.
as far as most people know, Omen is an island and there's a city built on the island.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Or maybe wouldn't make that jump.
Yep, but as far as I know, none of you have been. I think the only person even remotely close geographically that has been to Omen would be Rasira.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So yeah.
I might have been.
That's true.
Remotely close geographically. Yep, I'm going to stand by my words. Crumbar's on a jail cell on the underside of the disc. Wait, what? So, yeah. We have a... If that's the case, we'll skip to the part where... Serene, do you want any time before people come back as you finish your book? Or are you happy for people to come back as you finish? Anything you want to talk to the two of them about?
I'm happy for you to come back.
Yeah. And I think
Just finished up.
Bastille and Arya can both have came back at the same time with Dondrabella. I think that's all nice to sync up together.
Yeah,
Just-
Bastille's making a lot of noise, and he's trying to. He's holding the arm out in the open just because he doesn't want to drop it. With how abruptly he's moving and rushing.
Dondrabella's just
and
like
I'll
trying to
declare
quell the
to
fact that
everyone
she's burping on the way as she's bolting down these corridors trying to get back.
Propulsion.
Mhm.
He'll just declare to everyone else that Crombar's gone silent.
Yeah, like I think they both burst in at the same time, and it's like him saying Crumbar has gone silent, and Dondrabella goes, "The loud one is so quiet, it's bad." And she like belches again in her since she's just taken her beer can and shook it quite a lot violently as she's ran through Forge. I think Arya, you come in as well at that point when you hear them just like burst in and say that as you turn the corner and get in. Whew. Thunderbella catches her breath and looks around. Who speaks? Who breaks the silence? Mostly the news here is they can't get in touch with Crumbar. Right, that's the news.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll say, well, there's a lot to say. I think we should find the others so that we don't repeat ourselves. But fact of the matter is, Crumbar's in trouble. And I think we're gonna have to figure out how to get him out of trouble.
Trouble.
But
He's alive.
sorry, I heard something there, but I don't know what it was.
But as long as he's alive, I'm slightly more relaxed. You seem to know that. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, he's well, he's being held for
Bloody
what
us.
he's done. Yeah, so he's essentially in dwarven prison somewhere. So he must be somewhere nearby, I think. And the White said that we're gonna be able to see him tomorrow. And it sounds like he'll maybe stand trial the day after.
Trial.
But
Right.
yes,
Taking visitors right now.
I think tomorrow. But Serene's here as well, so I kind of like turn towards her, right?
Oh yeah.
And be like, oh, and you're wanted in the throne room. I think the White wants to have a word with you. I've just had a word with her, and she gave this back to me, and I kind of like pull back the eye and kind of like show it. So
I think Rhaenyra like motions just in your line of sight, Isla. He doesn't like nudge you to make physical contact, but he motions and points as if, see, that's why we don't look up this one. There's that kind of energy about him going, see?
You've got it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I nod like I'm suffering. Right?
How's
I'll
Serene's
kinda, like,
reaction to
turn
that, being you're
towards
wanted in the
Isla.
throne room?
Bemused, confused,
Like holding that book in her
concerned.
arms, being like, what?
worried. Like she was just kind of looking at a book, kind of like thinking to herself, like, oh, so this is why like the Quicklings kept yelling about how it was their forest first. Oh, and that was, and just kind of think, hang on, no, what now? Why? Why? Just kind of would look up at Arya, but did she say why? Why would she want to speak to me?
Not sure, but she wanted to speak to me, so I went to talk to her, and she gave me the eye back and told me a background bar, so she might have some news for you as well. I don't know.
Why?
I try not to ask too many questions of her because, you know, I don't want to upset her about things that might not be my business. So, I'm just being the messenger, and but I'm sure once you're there, she'll tell you why she wanted to talk to you.
Oh, okay. Do I have to go alone? I don't. I
Um,
prefer not to.
Rhaenyra like pats you on the hand and goes, if you wish, I will accompany you.
Oh no. Well, thanks,
well,
thanks,
she said
Jathira.
you, not all of us. So I don't know if
Well,
others would be welcome to join you.
if I go, will you all stay here? I don't. Everyone kind of seems to go everywhere when they're here, and I don't really know my way around.
I have no plans to go anywhere, especially not right now. And I'll kind of like walk a bit towards Isla, because I know she's good with books and finding things. And I'll say, I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. I
Cool.
need to find out about the heart of the mountain and what it is, because it sounds like it might help. It is powerful.
I know I'll kind of
and
cross out the note she was writing about maybe research dwarven lore and just write heart of the mountain.
yes,
Sorry, Grandpa.
I think it's fire of some sort. I think it's
I think Dondra Bella like clears her throat and like again like tries to stifle a belch and goes, why?
She knows.
I'll turn towards Dondrabella and say,
She's leaning on you,
I'll
Bastiel,
actually
by the way,
tell
for
her.
support, just so you
I'll
know.
actually tell her. You know what? I'll actually tell her. I'll say, because it was that which allowed me to give such bountiful crops the last time I was here.
I think Dondra looks up at you, Bastiel, because she is definitely clutching onto you for like, stability. And she goes, once more, you spoke to the heart of the mountain to make some plants grow.
I mean, she would probably know that from last
Where's
time.
Donar?
But yes.
Did yous both fall?
Oh.
Well, I was just outside the growing chambers when I saw him, so I don't know where he went afterwards.
Right. You didn't hit your head. She's giving you like a look as if she's like, trying to work out if you have like injured yourself in some way. Did you reply to her
I
at all?
mean, she's the one that's drunk.
Oh, she is,
so
yeah.
I don't think we're...
But she's also still
I don't
maternal.
think yeah. And I'll be like, no, actually, Donar's better now. I helped him get a bit better.
Oh, he doesn't like being called Donar. No, don't, no. She like kind of like shakes that off very quickly, and she says, "No.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I only said that because you did as well. I should have realized.
I never did." She looks like insulted when you say that. But
No, of
the
course you did not.
you've
I
seen the heart of the
misheard.
mountain. You've all seen it. It's through. She like waves vaguely to everything, and she's like, and like, and she like through in the hallway because obviously the big stone wall is open at the moment, so you can come and go. She points like the lava flows that go through it. It's like, I mean, if it's a heart, there's the veins. Like,
Yeah.
like.
Oh my god, we could
Yeah.
actually shut down that forge.
Yeah.
And looks
Or
and goes,
erupt the volcano.
yeah, right. And she's
Or
like,
both.
so she looks and goes,
Or
No.
give the red a nice, tasty meal.
Mm.
So either
Mhm.
way, this is big.
So I think like Donderville goes, well, if you've not hit your head, that's good. But I'm gonna go to check on Donar. And she looks at you, Bastiel, and like does that thing where she's looking at her hands, letting go of your arm. And then
I
she
shrug and I give her guidance.
cool. And she starts like this.
Oh.
She just pats you without really looking at you. And then like does a couple of wobbly steps and goes, whew, got this. Belches and off she goes.
Thank you.
The best.
Right. Grandmother to all the forge, it seems.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm gonna kind of shuffle around and
I love that you're just holding an
Put the
arm.
arm-
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna take out the 2 blades I made from the trinkets of the lost and put the arm back now that there's free space for it. Put it away in the bag, snug. And I'll offer a hand. No, I won't offer a hand because there's 2 blades. I'm holding one in either hand.
I know you meant your arm.
I'll gesture at Serene. Shall we go?
Yes, thank you. Let's go now. Yeah, I want to know what she wants to talk about.
Ida will definitely like confirm to Serene that we'll stay here.
Okay,
We promise.
please don't leave.
Like
I
Rasira
won't.
approaches again and then like put some like shake like pats your hand but put something in your hand, Serene.
Hmm.
And just like nods solemnly again. Like he's clearly trying to be reassuring. And yeah, like when he moves like his hand away, it's like some kind of pocket candy.
Aww. Okay,
Candy.
he's growing on me.
Yeah.
He's trying to be nice. Just
Yeah.
doesn't quite know how.
Because he's
One of those.
awesome.
Yeah. Gifted and talented kids who's never learned
Yeah.
social skills.
Homeschool.
I was that kid.
Yeah, same.
I was gonna say we've all been there, right? Like, oh no, is this what brought us together as a kid? Anyway, so moving on. So Serene and Bastiel head off to the throne room.
Yes.
Everybody else is staying put. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm staying put.
Yes. So, any other scenes in the library while they are walking to the throne room? Because there's a bit tight. Like, what do you want to talk about there? Is there anything we need to discuss or wrap up, or what would you just like to? Because I know obviously Arya got hit with a whole bunch of new topics. So
Mhm.
nothing. Arya?
Yeah, I'm happy to help research Heart of the Mountain. But I think I did take Don
Yeah.
Drabella's warning as like a, oh,
Yeah. Like he was like, you've seen it.
Mm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
what's to learn, right? Yeah.
but I might look up some Dwarven
Well-
lore.
But Isla
It's just-
understands magic probably better than most people here.
But then, arguably,
So
you'd
if I
understand
said I
instincts
could
better,
use-
right? Being the
Mm.
nature.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, nature's not really
but
my. Mm-mm.
I-
It
I
sort
was-
of is, but specific
I'm
nature.
guessing it would
Storminess. Yeah.
trigger something
Yeah.
if I said I used that to make the spell bigger. Like that would probably trigger some sort of like
Yeah.
Well, why don't we have that scene
Holy
then?
shit,
Maybe
that
you
could
go
be
off to the
useful.
side to have that conversation while
yes.
Basira like tidies up his page sphere that he's got on the go. So what is the conversation and character between you two as you just like shimmy to the side a little, maybe just out of your shot of Rasira?
Mm.
Mm,
Um, so you mean you. So how exactly did it help you? I don't really understand.
kind of like look at Rasira, look at you,
He's
kind of
just.
like wink at you, kind of like
See, his mannerisms are catching on.
I can speak to it. Can speak to me. Keeps calling me Mistress of the Flame.
Oh.
Now, Isla, can I ask, and not in a
Sure.
metagaming way, Isla, do you think she's hit her head?
Wow, thanks.
I feel again if we had the big chat in a tavern at some point,
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of like. So I think I would ask. You thought that was about the. I'm gonna like gesture my hand like I'm wearing a bracelet.
And I'll like hit like obviously I'm guessing we're all still fully equipped and
Yeah.
everything, right? As if we could leave any second. And I will say I was wrong, and I'll tap my bow a couple of times.
Oh. Well, it is fascinating because it's not normally how magic works, especially for non. Do you feel your magic normally comes from within yourself, or how? I can only really speak for myself, so I don't really know if that's a normal thing to happen with. I'm gonna gesture at Arya, like all of her.
Usually
Like,
would come from. It usually would come from nature itself, from a high druid.
well,
I
I
think it was
suppose
the high
then.
druid, and I'm not inventing names, right?
Yeah, the Hydra,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Well, I suppose the
Yes,
question
okay,
would
cool.
then be: is it the high druid or is it nature? Because I suppose they are two
No.
separate things. If
So-
it's
When I was here
nature,
first,
To clarify as well, some people that know the High Druid, they would refer to it by its surname, which is the forest that walks, right? Which does refer to it as,
Oh.
its entity name. Arya, you definitely knew this from many sessions ago, but just as a reminder, like you might, as someone in tune with the air quote high druid, which is how other people outsiders understand it. The forest that
Yes.
walks is like, because remember, it's the implication is it's the forest and the spirit of the
Yes.
forest and the being of the forest. Yeah, hence it's titled The Forest That Walks. Yeah. So you would know it as both titles,
Yes.
if you will.
Oh, okay. I'll say, well, the first time we were here, and
Mhm.
the dwarf king was having issues with their growth chamber, and they were, kind of freaking out about well, not freaking out. They were very concerned about their food stocks. I used a spell to help magnify the growth there, and as I was casting that spell, I had the option to either draw power from the forest that walks or from this other energy that was much closer and seemed quite powerful. And I chose the latter, and it got a lot stronger than the spell was supposed to be. So
So you
that's
like
how I know
swapped.
it is powerful.
Fascinating. I've never heard of magic swapping sources like that. It's definitely worth investigating.
The way I think it, because both this and the other, and I'll kind of like once again tap my bow, refer to me that way and seem to listen to me. I think that that it might be helpful in closing the breach if we have these forces on our side, but it would be best to first understand them. I would hate for us to do more harm than good in trying to close the breach, which is why I feel it's really important to understand what the heart of the mountain is and possibly what freeing it might mean.
Would do.
You just hear
Well-
Rasira's voice cut over your conversation. I like just like from where he is, far away, and he says, "Would anyone like a game while we wait?" And he looks down. And you see he's like conjured up a small, like what looks like a board game.
Aww.
I mean, Adrian, the player, is like, board game,
Yeah,
board game,
totally,
board game.
totally.
But Aria, I think, would be a bit like,
Mhm.
let's do research. We're supposed to learn.
And like so, we have that moment between
We
you
can
two,
play elsewhere.
and then Rasira's like,
Yeah.
"Well, he has to kill time now." So we cut over
Aw.
to Serene and Bastiel. You're outside the throne room doors. Bastiel, are you going to go in with her, or are you going to stay outside? What's the plan? And did you talk on the way?
Just probably talking about, what did you do? What's going on here? What now?
It's just making her feel worse, probably.
Well, I don't know.
Don't know.
Just run in and
Didn't
run
say
in,
anything.
run in, and just slap the.
Are you
light
the
there.
same height? Is that like we actually got like
Yeah,
a
I'm like 7 foot something.
Oh, she's
7
way
foot
more.
1.
yeah.
Wait for me.
Are you 6 something?
Yeah.
Right, cool. But yeah, it's a better match than the 5 foot nothing of Isla, right?
Mhm.
My horns had 2 feet, 2
Yep.
inches. Not 2
Aw.
feet. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be actual.
You measure from the tips of the horns. Yep. Yeah.
I just explained on the way that my business has nothing to do with any of this, and it barely even has anything to do with the white. To be honest, this is about the people we lost. So I'll kind of give them time to have their conversation and sort their business out first before I do what I
Wait,
was
so do you want
trying to.
would you walk in and then just
Oh.
wait at your side of like the walkway then, and like let her go forward across the walkway while in the throne room?
I'm gonna keep an eye on her just for like support and like obviously I can't stop anything happening, but
Thanks, bud.
yeah.
I'll
Hey.
move us to that screen just because I forget to move the screens a lot, and it's sometimes nice to have some more visuals. Just again, ignore the two people clearly thieving in the middle,
Mhm.
and replace it with that cool big ice throne picture. But yeah, so yeah, you go in. I guess you walk forward, Serene.
Yep.
Candir is sat there on the big ice throne. She stands up and like almost like motions for you to kind of come closer because it's almost like she's sensing your like animosity. And she says, "Thank
hello.
you for seeing me and coming so swiftly."
That's all right. What was it you wanted to discuss?
Your home.
Oh, okay. What about my home?
I am aware that you are working with the others, she says, strained.
Yes.
And I am aware that you are from the Cairnswood. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Are you familiar with your histories?
A bit. I've definitely learnt more recently.
Are you still holding the book out of interest? Have you automatically
Yeah,
just walked here with the book?
I kept it.
And
I still haven't read it all.
and then she says, "Yes, I am the authority here, defending Forge, and I am willing to lend aid where I can to the Cairnswood." She leaves that hanging for enough seconds to make you like feel awkward enough to want to speak, right? Do you or do you leave it?
Probably like just shuffle my feet a bit and look like around. Just a little.
Yeah, and you look around and you
Like-
see like off the end of the fairly highly raised up kind of like perfectly marble stone walkways that you're on, there's like the snoozing dragons, like the big white dragons that are clearly like lying over piles of like platinum and gold, and like as they're lying there, there's like that kind of fine layer of frost just around them as if they're slowly freezing the area they're lying on. Yeah.
As she's looking around awkwardly, Bastiel wants to kind of mouth the words at her, but not the abyss. As in, you'll help at the.
Keep in mind,
Cairnswood, but-
if she's talking to Kandira in the top, you are at least, remember, some time away.
Oh, a full minute of sprinting
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
doors. I am.
Shit.
This place is huge, remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably maybe after a couple of seconds if she hasn't started again.
Yeah, like, she'll definitely wait to see if you reply to that, to see, like, she's obviously trying to
Mhm.
gauge how you feel about that.
What was he said again?
What was it she said? Are you asking?
Oh,
As in Kandir.
oh.
She's willing to lend, like, aid to the
Yeah,
Cairnswood.
Yeah, and that's the one that doesn't have its power.
It's the one losing its power because of the hellhole that opened up in it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that obviously Serene was told by Cerule. That's weird saying Kandir is talking to Serene, and then Cerule told Serene about the fact that Viridis used to be worshipped by Serene's people. There you go. There's a statement I could never repeat.
That's so many names.
Did it?
Whew! I got there. Oh, I get 6 weeks off for that, right? Anyway, so you. Yeah, like, what do you say back to her, if anything? Because if you don't say anything, I'll happily have her say and fill the gap, but she will leave it awkward enough that, you know, you might fill it.
I'd probably after a couple of seconds, if she hadn't started again, I'd just be like, why would you help me with my specific problem?
Because you would help me. And she smiles as if she was waiting for you to ask that, right?
What does she want help with?
It's like her verbal mine you've just stepped on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how might I help you?
Your connection with your forest, your people. I bluntly wish to exploit that to find my brother.
Which one?
To find
Sorry.
Viridis.
And she nods.
Okay. any particular reason why?
And she
Just
looks-
that
and
he
she says-
disappeared?
And she looks at you and she says, "Would my reasons alter your wish to save your home?"
Um,
And then she does a very friendly wave of going, "Just asking."
oh,
Mm.
hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, tell me your
Fine.
reasons
Being
first.
sassy.
She's mostly been like, "Oh, I thought you'd want to help your people," you know?
Yeah, I do. I do.
And she knows that though, she knows it.
I do want to help them. Can I?
Kate Blanchett ain't fucking around.
Or can I read?
You can roll insight on her
like,
if you want, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you trying to gauge from this though? Because obviously, what are you trying to insight about it?
Like, does she have good intent? I don't know.
Yeah,
really
it's like a
do
tough
that.
one to read because I will tell you now she's not saying everything she knows for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. You don't need to insight that. That is just that's a you could roll a -20 and you'd learn that about how obvious she's being.
Like, does she seem trustworthy to me, or something?
I mean, the answer is
Get that
yes
vibe.
from last time, right? But this time, yeah, you can roll insight to see if
But now she's asking something different and
But you
wants
can-
me to do something.
you can definitely roll insight
Welcome to
on
my
this.
world.
Yeah, you can roll insight to see if you think that she'll be trustworthy. Yeah. So
22.
you look her up and down. You try and like gauge your desires to help your people versus this is the head of the evil like this is the head of the evil dragons and the white dragons, and you know, Kate Blanchett's smiling face looking back at you, and I think you definitely get the feeling that she has done nothing but everything she has said she would do for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to not just be ripping Crumbar's head from his body. She's going through the dwarven process of law, it seems, with him. And, you know, she gave the eye back to Arya
She did.
and offered the hammer and says, well, I don't really use that. It's decorative, essentially, for me. So, yeah, I think all of that's leading you to, like, see her being like, you know she will help you.
Mhm.
You know that. Like, whatever she promises you, you can probably guarantee it will happen. But you can definitely tell she doesn't really feel the need to tell you why she wants her brother.
Yeah,
And neither did Cyril, right?
true.
Mhm.
Probably, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll do whatever I can to help.
She puts her hand
I
into his.
have-
Be careful what you offer.
Oh,
And she smiles at that and she says, I require the simplest tribute from you. Some of your blood.
oh no. Just sorry. As a player, I'm like, no. I don't want to get my blood. Bad things happen. Give people blood.
Why couldn't it have been a +10 against Dragon's Dagger?
Right. Wait. Oh. Okay. I thought you'd want me to like go back to my home and like research things or see if there was anything left to do with the green. Or I have this book. I found this book in the library. It was actually quite helpful. Taught me a lot. I'm just curious. How would it? How? What? Why? How would my blood help you find your brother? I'm just curious. It seems like I don't know how it would do that. Like, I'm sorry. I don't have much knowledge with kind of these things.
Like she's just smiling politely through this entire exchange, right?
Starting to ramble on.
And
Nervous.
I think like she I don't know if she was standing, but I just imagine she was sitting again. But she'll walk closer to you slowly, and she'll put like a hand on your shoulder, like a reassuring hand, and she'll give it like a little squeeze, right? And she'll be like, I won't bite. You can relax. And you can say no. And she smiles again. I would say it's a warm smile, but she is literally like fucking ice powers, so I guess.
She is the ice queen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does that relax Serene, or does it not? Because keep in mind, your insight is that she's on the level, right?
Yeah, she seems genuine.
Hmm?
Like, she hasn't given me any reason not to trust her. Suffering to help. I'd probably be wary still, but I would go. I would give. Yes, I would give her my blood. Here, have my blood. I'm sure nothing bad will come of
Do
it.
you do it here? Have my blood. Hold your hand out. Is that like how it goes?
This last one.
Yeah, I just hold my hand out.
Like Kandir, like I guess like laughs a little at like how straightforward you are, because it's she appreciates people that are straightforward, and she says, like I guess like she holds your hand, and she is obviously slightly cool to the touch, and she says, I am primarily tasked by defending Forge. You understand? And she looks at you like in a serious tone.
Yes.
But I can send some to defend. It will not stop the threat to your home, but it will mitigate significantly. While I can afford to stretch that far. And she like waves vaguely like a wing expanding. But if Forge is under attack, I will not be able to keep my forces there. And then like as she says that, like you hear like the snorting of dragons like shuffling and waking up and like standing to like attention, if you will. All like around, maybe there's about 15 or something in this room, all like lying on the piles of money beneath. As if, there's her flex right there, right? While stating how vulnerable she is flexing. And she goes, do you still offer?
Yes. I do.
She smiles like very, like genuinely like she was somebody that was asking for help and somebody said yes, so it's that kind of a smile of thank you. And she says, I will send word to your people. You will record the message. And she like holds up like a kind of crystal. It just forms in her hands out of like ice. And she says, I would prefer it if you spoke to them on
Oh yes.
their
I was
behalf.
wondering that.
And she waves vaguely to like the dragons below her, and she goes, if you can speak on their behalf, it will reduce the transition. And she nods. Because obviously if a bunch of white dragons just descend in your woods, it's probably not going to go down very well.
Yes. Very true.
And she says, I would do this now. She hands you the crystal.
Oh. Now?
Yep. And if you want, we can just narratively say, you tell them what you need to tell them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. Don't worry, we'll cover that. It's done. And then she says, like while you're holding it, you record the message. She goes, crush it and blow it away.
I do as she says.
Yep, you crush it, turns into like dust again, you blow it away, and obviously the dust just decides to like go on its merry way. Very Pocahontas style. And yep, and she says, good. And then she just like tilts her head ever so slightly, and then like a whole big kind of like gust of like cold wind happens, and a whole bunch of the dragons like take flight in the room. You hear the kicking up of coins beneath you. Like as I said, the very kind of cold winds flapping around the room a bit, and then a whole bunch of the dragons leave. And she smiles and she says, your hand, please. Puts her hand back out.
Yep, still extended.
Yeah, and she just straight up bites your hand.
Oh,
She lied!
Why?
Straight up bites your hand until it bleeds, and then that's where we end.
Oh.
She said she knew that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what's a little blood magic, right? Like,
Right.
you know, like
I don't know about blood magic.
it's fine.
Seems totally legit.
It's
Mm.
fine. She's so trustworthy, guys.
Also, hello Matt in chat. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt our RP there, but hello if you're still watching. Thanks for joining us, buddy. He said hail to you guys as well. I don't know if he's noticed
I
that
love
in
it.
chat, but he
Hello.
was there. Right. So, what are we naming this one? Hmm. Yeah, try and pick out what happened. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Like, was it though?
Nice.
It's a good title though. Definitely had things went the other way, and you sort of felt like she wasn't trustworthy and such. Yeah, like that'd have been a great title, I think.
Boy.
A lot happened.
Me as the player does
That's
not
tough.
think she's trustworthy.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Serene.
Mhm.
Super trustworthy.
I mean, yeah.
I
When
feel as a
yeah, Karen.
I feel as a player in D&D, no one is ever trustworthy.
No one's ever trustworthy. And she
Ever.
just took my blood. How is
But
that?
also,
No.
yeah.
I
As a
co-
character, totally on board.
Arya, I really like that one. Heart to heart, that's good. I
That's
do
good.
like it. Anything else? But wise are we?
trying
We're
to
good.
Focus something else to formulate something else that would be heart related and all.
It's good because there was a lot of that, right?
relate to the many heart to hearts that
Yeah.
we kind of had.
I feel we had a lot of
'Cause
heart
it kind of feels like the entire session was like a few smaller
Uh-huh.
conversations.
Like more personable moments between people. Yeah, that was good.
Hmm.
And Don Rebella's ever mounting bar tab across Forge. Yeah. Heart of the Forge is good as well. Heart of the Cards
Yeah.
also.
Part of the what? Sorry.
Cards. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
Oh, too many hearts, guys. Too many
Yep.
hearts. So many hearts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't-
Anything else?
Try and think of something else.
I can't actually think of
Less
one.
than 3.
Oh god.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I was trying to do something with that line from One Division of I actually did bite a kid once.
It's such a good line. Oh dear. in the bungalow.
Stating facts.
Um,
You lost him. He's gone for a wander.
Yep. I like the way that Don goes, wait a minute, where's Donar? I was like, oh, Donar's on the roster. Don't call him that. He doesn't like that. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, currently Heart to Heart's winning, right? Heart to Heart is winning. I think it might.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it is.
it's
the
big
winner.
enough
Yeah, that's good.
things like art as well.
Yeah, it
Right.
does cover like the whole like it does. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. We've got there we go. We won. It's Heart to Heart. There we go. I'm gonna fix it so it's got a capital T though because
I was like thinking like
Oh, yeah.
heartburn and things like that. But it just-
give that time. That might be the couple of sessions time, right? We might need heartburn as a session. Okay, let's have a look at goals.
well,
Talk me through them, guys. What happened? So, use Auradac's resources to find out more about the eye. Did it happen? No. Is it still going to
No.
happen? Yes or no?
probably not.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to know more about the eye.
Cool, that's fine. We'll
Yeah.
move on. Learn
Yeah.
who took the Rod of Pat off the Shal. We didn't do it, but are we still going to focus on it?
We
Yes.
still should have a
Hmm.
broad related
Find out.
quest.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. Learn
At least
the
find out
artifact's
where it
name and use. Still going to do it because we definitely didn't achieve it. Still focused on it. It's kind of important, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important
And I
to
don't-
understand, so is the god call, to
Don't
be
think-
honest.
Mhm.
Rasira will let us do something else. So.
Yeah, Rasira locked that in gold. Yeah. And then God Call with the Great Gold Worm. It hasn't happened, but are we going to go do it? Still a plan?
Still a plan, yeah.
Yeah, it's still worth.
Yeah.
And then successfully commune with the Hydrid. Hasn't happened. We're still going to do it.
Yeah, I'll need my spell again.
It's fine, yeah. Well, you know you've got a
The
day to
Joseph
wait before you
Unraveled.
can go see Crumbar in prison. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Yep,
another
yep,
day pre-trial. So
Mm,
Yep.
yep, and you can definitely study Dwarven law, so like don't forget that for next time.
great. Yeah, that's my plan.
As for that, like personal goals, seek info on possibly utilizing the Mistress of the Flame. So,
I think that we kind of have it because
tell me the answer to that then, right? Like, what happened?
the Mistress
Is
of
that
the Flame can get in touch with various energies and they do her bidding. That spirit, granted, I can't remember what I told it in Bad Infernal, but it listened to me. This spirit helped me amplify my spell and is now, well, the Heart of the Mountain helped me amplify the spell and would be willing to help me if I helped it. So I think it's quite obvious that Mistress of the
Yeah.
Flame can interact with some of these, I'm assuming, elementals. I don't exactly know how Arya would put them, but with these forces and get them to do her bidding, which I think could be useful because, you know, fire. Fire burns. Fire is ouch, you know?
And there is enough evidence to say that perhaps the term mistress and those who can hear are close enough for this thing's
Yeah.
understanding, right? So yeah, I'd say you've done that goal. I would say you haven't worked out how to do any of the stuff that you now might be able to do, but yeah,
But it's
like,
possible. We
yeah.
know that it's possible.
This thing seems to think you're here to help, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
get me
I
out, buddy.
almost feel bad about it.
But yep, move that
Because I
over.
don't know just how much I'll help. Yep, just a second. I'll do it.
Bastel,
because-
how do you like having a personal goal that you are kind of hoping Arya's completing for you?
I'll definitely do it. I will definitely be doing that. So.
Yeah, so acquire a fire elemental for those listening is what Bastel's goal is, and you still want to keep it there, yeah?
Yeah.
That's fine. Cool. Right, Serene. Still keeping the who has control of Justoria?
I don't know. I think that's still kind of good. Like, we've made the hellhole problem less. Still need to close it. But I don't know. As a player, I want to see if Serene can find out why the White would want my blood.
Yeah, and I think as well, if
and
you
then-
wanted to word something in your message, by the way, like that also gave word back to your people, like as an update, beyond just
Yeah.
don't freak out, white dragons are here to help, right? Besides that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if you want to word something in the interim, we can say you sent that, because if you wanted to like just give them an update and speak to your family and everything, like you can
Yeah.
feel free to write that if you want and let me know.
How long was the message?
As literally as long as you need it to be.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
she ain't restricted, she
Mom,
fucking weird ice
Dad,
crystal magic, yeah.
Uncle, aunt, cousin,
Yeah,
cousin number
exactly.
2, cousin number 3,
Hey.
cousin number 4. The
Starts
baker,
transcribing
everybody,
the book to
naming
the crystal.
everybody you know.
Mm-hmm.
Zero's
Could you
rock.
call me
Yeah.
Dad?
Rosira's rock,
Yeah,
yep.
once.
Right,
Yeah.
so
So good.
I'll come back to you then about your goal then, right? I am Isla. Did you gain anything actionable from Rosira?
No, I feel like we compared notes,
Right.
and I've learned a lot about him as a person.
Mhm. Okay.
There was some things on time travel, but I don't feel there.
So you don't feel there's anything actionable, essentially?
Yeah.
Nothing you can take from that and move forward with. Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Cool.
I thought what we got from that was that you can only travel forward in time, you can't travel back.
He
Mhm. Which
definitely
doesn't
believes this.
really. Yeah.
What, sorry?
He
But
definitely
it
believes
gave
this.
us. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
What did you say, Ryan?
I said he definitely believes that. Rosira is...
Oh, believes it, right, okay.
Well, yeah,
sorry,
because
that-
obviously I need to say that
Mhm.
because if I say definitively from a completely objective, universal perspective, Rosira somehow knows yes. That's the only possible option. But he doesn't. His studies and his beliefs, just like anything you will ever say is always your beliefs, right? Like walking into a zone of truth and saying something you believe to be true, even if it's universally wrong, the zone of truth can't tell that. You're still telling the truth, right? Even if what you're saying is a
Yeah.
lie. So yeah, Rosira believes that, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah. Don't get weirdly wordy with me.
I guess
Yeah.
I learned that chronomancy is a area of magic.
Yeah, telemancy and chronomancy.
Yeah.
He was
I
quite
like,
excited
that's
about
cool.
them. hmm
Yeah.
I'd love to be a telemancer.
But
in a
it
fantasy
doesn't give
setting.
us like a action plan.
No, but it's definitely something you could work on. Definitely.
Yes.
And he's definitely up
Yeah.
for chatting, as you've seen.
Yes.
Especially about his cool
Um,
floating rock.
But I might change it to something about dwarven law.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or something about like yeah. At
Okay.
least not getting Crumbar killed. But
Right.
I want
yeah.
yeah, it's basically get Crumbar out is my goal.
So, acquit Crumbar.
Or like community service with us.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like,
Yeah.
basically get Crumbar out on quest bail.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good enough, right?
Yeah, good point.
Does Serene, have you got a rework goal, or are you keeping yours for now?
I'll keep it for now.
Okay, and Crumbar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've still got Celeste, Typhon,
Yeah,
gain your replacement
I
for the quill. Are you-
can. Yeah, I want to change it, but I don't know if it's just a bit of an autocomplete.
Just say it. What was it?
Can I change it to come out of the trial alive, or like
No, you can't. That's not a goal.
right, survive.
Again, if it starts with survive, it's
Yeah.
unlikely to be a goal. You know this.
Um,
Things that are, does the character continue in the game or not, don't count as goals.
be found not guilty at trial. Or in fact, no, because I don't really know what I'm on trial for yet.
I mean, you are guilty. There is a trial you did do. You know what I mean? Like, you are guilty.
If,
Don't-
yeah, if
I
it's
think
like
your goal-
accessory to murder.
Your goal should be, realize Isla will be a better lawyer than Bastille for you.
Yes.
If Isla's goal was, try and get you out on quest bail, and Bastille was, you're guilty though, buddy. Like, you did
I
it.
mean, I got my hands are tied, all three of them.
Yeah.
You get-
Yeah. So,
One is literally in the bag.
you know what I'm trying to say, though. I just don't know how to word it right.
I don't know. I also don't know how you will contribute to that from your position. Either.
By convincing the jury that I am not a
You d-
threat.
We don't know there's a jury. We have to do research.
Luckily, you've got some dwarven pals that will probably know the ins and outs, and a library, and a lore master, and 2 libraries, in fact, about dwarven stuff. So it's likely you could learn quite easily about dwarven lore and law. Yeah. Okay.
So I want to make it a goal that I can complete.
Yes, that
Things
is
I
usually
can
the best
see-
goals.
Yeah, things that are going to come up is obviously this trial. So a goal around the trial
I mean, that's optimistic. We have a whole day to get through to get to the trial.
would be
Oh.
Oh.
It's still only day 2 with me and Serene being here. Day
Like-
3?
Like, I think it's day 3, right? I think it's day
Okay.
3.
Yeah, I think we're on day 3. We've had 2
Nice.
sleeps.
Yeah, true.
So,
How many
yeah.
sessions have you been here, though? Right? Because that's always the fun
Oh.
comparison.
Oh, lordy.
a lot.
I can't think, guys. Anyone got any suggestions?
Maybe you could get something out of Not Jet. Maybe some kind of information.
I think you were in 75, by the way, Serene. I think you
Yeah.
joined at 75.
Yeah, it was Royal Mail. Yeah.
What information?
I don't know. I mean, he's kind of the only thing you have to mess around with in there. I mean, do you have any spells that don't need any? No, never mind.
I think, was it Standing on Ceremony is when you joined? Isla?
Yeah, that sounds.
It was either that one or it was
Either
Faux
that or the
Pas.
one after. Yeah.
Yeah. One of those.
Could a goal be beat not jet at not chess?
Like, I think thrash him, yes. If it was definitively
Ooh.
thrash him at it, yes, it can be.
What do you mean by thrash him at it?
As in, it can't just be beat him, it has to be like absolutely make it one-sided. Like, there was
Okay.
no. Yeah, like, it needs to be like that. Like,
Really win.
Destroy them.
yeah.
Yeah.
All like training and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So smashy, smashy,
I feel like thrash him
chessy,
at his own game is the simplest way to
smashy,
word it.
smashy, chessy win.
Sure. Sure, that'll do. Smash your chest.
Because I don't know his name, so
That's fine. Arya,
Smashy.
I know you've put in some
Smashy,
stuff in
Smashy
chat,
Chesky.
so
Trying to figure out.
yeah. So like, you've got a team here. What's the plan? So I want to do commune versus commune with nature, but also Greater Resto, 5 level. If only we're level 10, could have both. I'm not sure it'll work. So the problem is you got one slot. I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know I could make Petrovan just even better. I don't think that would help the party in any way, though.
Yeah, but he's bitching.
So if I did have two, if I did have two spells, I would two spell slots. I'd
You have
use
access
it
to a
for that,
Bastiel.
because
Just gonna highlight this.
I don't.
Like,
know
He could
exactly
also
what
do.
happens.
Greater Resto.
Yeah.
Oh, then I could give you some of my dust, and I'll get you to. Unless you have stuff you could do with that spell slot, though.
I have a staff, but
That might be more useful. But
But keep in mind,
I
you do
think-
have 2 divine casters essentially amongst you, so that is something to keep in mind.
yeah.
Even
to
though
be
Druid's
honest, I
kind of
think it
primal.
might be more useful for you to try to I don't know obviously what slot.
Yeah,
it
what
is,
did you
but I
have
think
in
it
mind
might
for
be
your
more
level
useful for
5
you to try the
Bastiel?
god called GW instead of
In mind, I
Well-
wanted to finally get this Legend Lore down because I've been sitting on it for too long.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
but other than that, if anyone has a plan and you know my spell list, if you want a level 5 spell, we can work that in.
Yeah.
Not in a rush.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it does look like I might have to try to commune with nature, even though. Thing
Yeah,
is,
I think the best thing to do, if you're not sure,
we're
just
in
roll a
nature,
dice.
but also not in nature at the same time. Like we're in a mountain, but obviously it would have been carved a lot.
As I
by
said,
the-
if you think there's value to both, roll a dice, let it pick for you.
Yeah. No, I think
Hmm.
it might be worth it to try commune with nature.
Yeah, if you
think-
think that, pop it into your goals. Sorted.
Because that would be, if
Um,
that told you what type of creature it was, that'd be interesting.
I will say commune with to learn about part of the mountain. That's kind of what I'm going to be trying to look for.
Okay, yep. And what we'll do then is we can have. Is it 900 XP we got? Because that's what we're on. We're on level 9, right? So 900 XPs, folks. Want to add it in because she's got a goal completed. Thank you to Arya.
Yay.
So update
my
your
math is
XPs.
bad. So 5, 9, 6,
7.
7. Damn it. 5, 9, 7, 0, 0.
Ta-ta. Okay. We have that done.
Yay.
Right. Wrap
Not
up.
that much longer, guys. It's 64k, right?
Yep. We're very close, guys. We're very close. That is literally just like, what, 5 goals? Right? 5 goals, basically, give or take.
That feels forever.
We can do that in one session.
Yeah, you can, right? It has happened before. I
That's
think.
happened.
Can be done. It can be taught. So, wrap up chat time. Bastiel, start us off.
Yeah. Good progress. I feel like we've been sitting on this anvil thing for a long time. We keep finding even that one thing of teleport to anvil. Super extended because there's all these different avenues now. Even more new figures came up. We learned about the green and stuff. It seems to be every single week there's 3 new crazy powerful things.
The problem is if you wait too long in one location, I'll develop it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're warned now.
Yeah. So that's cool. More doors as always. But I have a really cool plan for next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can't wait.
Good. And Isla.
More research.
Right.
Got some cool books,
Mhm.
which was awesome. Managed to pick Rasira's brain and learned that he's very much what he seems to be.
Mhm.
and maybe needed to be like given more like affirmations and like love as a child.
Like a hug occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting to see his outlook on like information Crumbar gave him.
Mm.
Isla's starting to hit the point of feeling stressed about being trapped in the library, which she never thought she'd feel.
Right.
But it's now getting to the point that she's like, we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone keeps coming back and going, okay, but we need to wait another day. And she's like,
What I love though is you've
No,
hit that
definitely.
point Rhaenyra hit last session,
yeah.
right? And I love
Yeah.
that you're following the steps just like a session behind. I love it because he was like, "Why are we still here? If there's more to
Yeah.
learn elsewhere, why aren't we there?"
She's at that point where she's like, I found all the things I can find, but she's got a new topic now, so she's excited to research Dwarven law. But without that, she would be in a corner rocking until movements were made.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited about everyone else's like bits and pieces.
You mean she wouldn't want to devour the rest of the library? Come on.
Well, she's hit the point now where she's like, I want to read it all, but I don't have time for that. And we need to do things. She's got that stressed deadline face. She's
Yeah.
like, things are happening.
Rhaenyra,
I can't just read anymore. I've got to like write the thing.
Rhaenyra definitely has a
Yeah.
list that is the books he wished he had time to come back and read
Mhm.
that he has made for this library.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence why I just sat and chilled out and read an art book for a bit. Like
That was cool.
forbidden dwarven art. Oh dear, it's good. Yeah, not good. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and obviously you're finding the limits of your love of libraries. I love it.
Yep.
It's good. And Crumbar.
I like the fact that I got to just talk to a box and then, just like chill out for a wee bit.
It's arguably the
Uh,
least disastrous conversation you've ever had in the game.
I know, right? And then, playing the chess gamey thing and possibly making a new friend. And yeah, it's been an alright, pretty chill
Yeah.
session.
I did love the fact that the like the dwarf guy's just clearly been bored for a long time, and he's just like a no fucks kind of guy, where he's just like doesn't even expect you to have tried anything, really. Even with that, I should probably say, behave, Hence why it was so jarringly in the middle of his interactions with you, because he's like, oh, aye, that's a possibility. Like,
It's a shame I'm gonna have to absolutely smash him at his own game,
if you want that sweet XP, I guess. Yep. Gotta chip off those 5 goals.
Oh,
Yep.
it's us, bro, but I got a level 10 to go for.
Yep. And yeah, it was good. It was good. You didn't die, which was good. I would say that's
Yeah.
definitely a good highlight.
And I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Obviously, if it goes to trial, if Isla can maybe somehow stop it going to trial, it'd be interesting. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see how that goes. The white just seems very tired, from what I can gather with the whole thing. But yeah, it's good. Anything else, bud?
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too, buddy. And
Okay.
Daria. I won't kill you again this time.
Well, Aria's had a very interesting conversation. She now is starting to think that the notion of Mistress of the Flame isn't necessarily a title, but a, ability that some people have, which is to listen to and hear these things. She's not exactly sure how she's got it. She's not exactly sure if she'd still have it if somebody were to, for example, take the bow away from her. But she's now a bit confused about certain things, and she actually wants to examine her bow. But yeah, that's she's found some answers, and she now only has more questions. So yeah, it's one of those sort of things. Like you get one answer to one question, and then 3 more questions pop up in your head. So
As I said to Shan, it's
interesting
dangerous.
moment.
Don't leave me in a place for too long.
Yeah, that's basically the issue. But she's just enjoying, finding out all
Mhm.
of these things and trying to see how the pieces fit together and what they could do. So this has been fun.
No, good. I'm glad. I also like it when like players find out something quite like big, and then you go to like two other people and like say for like Candier's like, yeah, the Heart of the Mountain, yeah. So, and obviously then Dunderbear's like, yeah, you've seen it everywhere. Like there's the veins, if you will, the lava flows, right? Shrugs in common knowledge because she's literally the lore master of Forge. Yeah, like it's interesting because it's the perspective shift of what people think is important, what other people see as common or mundane or misunderstood, and don't realize what's going on. Like obviously Candier kind of writing off Perdir as like a bit of a crazy, being like, yeah, my brother heard whispers from the below in the mountain, and he wanted to just trash the place to find it. Like, yeah, like one of those house sounds that people go crazy trying to find and solve. Oh dear. Anything else, my dear?
Oh well. No, not really. I'm just curious and really eager for level 10. So
Right.
kind of hoping that we're like, oh yeah, close to achieving more of these goals ASAP.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's it. That's me.
And last but not least, Serene.
Oh, it was good. Oh, that's so much. I'm glad I decided to ask about the Cairnwoods. I was just like, I think she'd probably, if she's around some books, it's nearby her home. Maybe they'll know something. Just off randomly. So, I'm so happy. Yeah, I asked
good.
that.
That's good.
Learned loads.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Good.
Very concerned about the blood.
Yeah. Very feral
Very-
approach to that
Very
collection. Yeah.
concerned. So hopefully it's not bad.
Who
Shouldn't it
who
won't be
amongst
bad.
us would dismiss Kate Blanchett from just chewing on her hand, right?
Yeah.
Like who amongst
Right.
us?
Also,
Yeah.
she said she
Yeah.
did say she wouldn't bite me. So
yeah, I mean that was
now
yeah.
the trust has been broken
Bit, yeah,
instantly.
bit coy.
Instant regret.
Uh-huh.
Maybe she's not so trustworthy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's very to the point. Obviously, her points are in her teeth. So yeah.
But grateful for the help.
Yeah.
The woods, that's good.
Like immediately dispatched the helicopters. Yep, off they went.
Yep.
Yep.
Just gotta let the fam know. And it'll be
Yep.
fine.
Yeah. But I did like that. Like she is very like, as you know, she's very direct. Because she's like, I can do this and I know it will help you and it might be something I regret later, but it will fix what I want now, so do you want to do that? And he goes, the answer's yes, by the way. And she waits to hear it. Essentially, that's how she works. And she appreciates that you were quite quick with a lot of that. Which was good. Because yeah, like turns out ruling a country is tough. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily good to be king. When on, whatever day of her reign it may be, there's just thousands of dead dwarfs. It's like, oh, and what was yesterday's count? None. Oh.
Yeah.
And today, thousands. Ah. The army? Gone. Oh. So I'm literally the defense with my dragons. Right. Okay. Writes notes furiously. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Been told I'd have an assistant,
Yeah.
and now they've just gone spawning off.
Yep. Yeah, and she has to deal with the fact that there's an agent of Magna kicking around Forge as well, that seems to be allowed to wander around, right? So whatever their conversation was about was obviously interesting enough to her. So yeah, I like all that. Anything else, Serene?
No, I think that's it.
Oh, good. Last thing I'm going to say to everybody is, when you hit level 10, you are going to level 11, because that's my anniversary gift to the game. Is you get a level up.
Oh.
But I'm not going to rob you of level 10 achievement. I'm going to let you get to level 10, and then I'll let you go to 11. So then you achieve level 10. But I'm not going to rob you of that last jump, because that last jump you've earned, and I'll skip you to 11. Right? So when you earn 10, you're making it to 11. That's my anniversary present to the game.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Yay.
That's so exciting.
It's my birthday soon, guys. Wink, and those eBay links with that limited edition. I'm kidding. So,
Right, guys, if we rob a bank,
yep. When you get the help of the white, rob the bank. No, anyway. Thank you all for playing. I hope you all enjoyed that. I definitely did. I love the decisions people decide to make, either on a whim or through lots of events that have led to other things that have come up in the game. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what the hell happens. I think Rasira is just excited at the idea that you might leave Forge. So yeah, that's quite good. Hence why he's like summoning board games to be like, does anybody want to play while we wait? Like, since he wasn't included in the conversation between Isla and Daria. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. And again, how long Rasira lasts, because ours lasted a long time. I'm eager to see how this NPC lasts.
He's here to the end, bro.
Yeah, right.
yeah, we're keeping him.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
really hope
He
so.
needs some like love and affection.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Again, thank you all for playing, and goodbye everybody who watched. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye everybody. Say goodbye.
Bye.